Should be good to go now.
Hello, hello.
All right. Good.
All right.
All right, beautiful. And then we'll just minimize all the faces and then put whatever you need to put wherever. So you want to minimize all the faces. Gio got promoted to our tech guy, okay? Because my tech guy opened up his own office in Palm Beach.
Serious,
Hey.
last night at team night out, they actually thought I was the tech guy. They asked me, what's your position? Somebody said, he's the tech guy, isn't he?
Sam.
Hey, he's not. Have you introduced yourself yet or no?
No, not yet.
Okay, guys, this is Gio. Hey, Gio started with us. When he was like many years ago, he was a junior in high school. Okay. And then he became a branch manager or assistant manager, sold a lot of Cutco, then became a branch, and then now he's running the second office this summer. So he's a two-time branch. Hey, so you want to introduce yourself real quick? Introduce yourself, tell them how much you sold, and give them a tip.
So I started back in 2 years ago. And so I sold 10 grand with my first 10 days on the job. So I was a 10K fast starter, doubled my starting income or tripled my starting income, made 2 grand, and then made 30% commission there on forward. So one big tip, what have you guys done so far?
Call in, do your regular.
Okay, yeah, so make sure that you read the manual. We've been doing this for decades. It's never not worked for anybody who doesn't follow the program. So make sure, like they said, you're calling in, having fun. They just read the manual. We give you guys all the materials that you need to get started and succeed here. So make sure that you just follow that.
All right, perfect. All right, let's do this thing. All right, y'all ready for awesome day of training? Yes or no? All right. So I tell you what, we ever since COVID hit, hey, we had to change everything and do everything in a computer, right? Hey, I can't tell you how many hundreds of hours I've been on Zoom. Hey, and can we all agree that that stinks? Yes or no? All right. So we were not wired, okay, to be in a computer forever. Now, no jabs to the people who are in the computer. Okay. So anyways, y'all are our 5th live training class in several years, and I am super fired up to be here with y'all. Live is what we are meant to do. Now, for the people who are on Zoom, okay, make sure that you have your first name and your office name on there. So first name, office name. So you should change your name to like Trey Orlando. Okay. Now, all right, I'm gonna go over and I want y'all to take notes on this, and I'll just tell y'all the most important things to take notes on. Hey, but you do want to understand Zoom and Zoom etiquette, because we'll do face-to-face appointments with people who are within like a 45-minute radius of us. Hey, but all of us have family and friends that live out of state, right? So I do want to make sure that y'all do some virtual appointments as well, so that way you feel comfortable with both. Okay, what I found is that, as I mentioned earlier to a few of you, hey, that when all of the kids that only did face-to-face, when Zoom came around and we had to do everything virtually, we couldn't go to do an appointment at someone's house or whatever, people on lockdown and stuff, right? They were scared to do Zoom ones, right? Hey, and then what I found is all the kids that started during 2020 summer up till current, right? All they knew was Zoom, and then they were scared to do face-to-face appointments, right? So I do want you to get comfortable with both of them. Hey, so that way, if your car breaks down or whatever, you move off to college somewhere else, hey, then you can still do a lot of appointments, hey, remotely. So let me give you a couple of tips for Zoom people, right? So the first thing that I would say is that you want to make sure that you have your computer elevated where it's eye level. Okay. So that's the first thing. I can't tell you how many kids, hey, that I've had on Zoom where it's like you see the top of their forehead in the ceiling, or you see their chin and their chest and not their eyes, right? It's very awkward, right? So just make sure your whole face can be seen. I'm not saying that you need to buy a little computer stand. I don't care. Just stack up some textbooks. You just want to make sure that the camera's eye level, hey, with you. Next Zoom tip. Hey, you don't want to have any bright lights behind you, right? If I was doing a virtual demo right now or a meeting with anyone on Zoom for a meeting, I would never want the window to be right behind me, because if you have bright stuff behind you, it shades out your face. They can't really see your face as well, right? 55% of communication is nonverbal, right? So you want to make sure that they can see the face, the facial expressions, etc. Next thing I would say, hey, make sure your whole face is seen, eye level. Okay. Oh, I don't care if you buy a ring light or not. Okay. I do have them when I'm running Zoom meetings, so it's like shining light on my face so they can see it. Hey, and then the other thing I'd say is just be aware of your background, right? You want to make sure that you don't have like, your bed in the background would look tacky, right? Also, you don't want to have like spinning things like a fan or a ceiling fan, hey, because then it might cause your customer to lose attention on you and start paying attention to the fan spinning, right? I know I'm ADD, hey, and it would be easy for me to lose focus if you got that spinning thing going on in the back. Okay, so just a couple of random basic Zoom tips there. Now, all right, I want to explain, recap really what this job is and what this job is not, right? So I just want to make this very clear for y'all. Hey, you just landed your first big boy, big girl job. Okay. Now, so your resume, just when you leave tomorrow, will say, I work with a $300 million international marketing firm. And I went to a 2-day professional business and sales seminar, right? I professionally contacted people and scheduled hour-long appointments, right? Hey, and then after your first weekend, it'll say, I personally met with X amount of people and earned X amount of pay raises. Make sense? Now, so I just want you to know that I get that we work with a lot of younger people. I started when I was 17 years old. We mainly work with high school seniors and college students. Now, I also have 40-year-olds that work with me as well and grown adults, right? This is their full-time career, right? They're in a completely different category. Those are my Cutco sales professionals. They'll sell, $600,000 to $800,000 a year, and they make 50%. Okay. So Kadeem Samuels, one of my top guys, he was from New Jersey. He went to Lehigh University up there. He's a big wrestler, right? Top 10, and he was top 10 in the world in wrestling. And then he moved down here for an engineering job. It was paying like maybe 60 grand a year. And he was working part-time with me on our events team. And he's making more money working part-time with me than he was as an engineer. After a couple of years, he just kind of got rid of the engineering and pursues this full-time. And it's been an excellent decision for him, right? We have a lot of different layers to the business. Okay, right now we are just going to start off with the basics, right? Going to read a manual to married women and smile and cut stuff. Make sense? Okay, and then call Haley and she'll help you make your sales, right? But I do want you to know that we have a lot of other different levels, okay, to the job, hey, to add different layers and different levels of income, hey, to your regular foundation. Okay, we have once someone's over $10,000 in sales, they can apply at the end of the summer. I'm going to interview all the top people across the state of Florida for the Leadership Academy, which I'll talk about later, but I basically teach how to manage yourself, how to manage others, how to manage your finances, and how to manage a business. Okay. Stuff that you're not going to learn in school. Okay. Once someone's at 15K, they can get into our sharpening team, where I can order service call leads of all of the Cutco owners that live in your area. Right. And you can contact them and sharpen up their knives, sell them more stuff. Right. We got an events team, where we have booths set up at every big thing. Right. So we're at the big one would be our food and wine festival at Disney at Epcot. Right. We'll sell $1 million at that. Right. Now it's a long one. It's like, about a 2.5-month event. All my top people work that one. Right. But they can learn how to set up at a farmer's market or whatever. And they learn how to like sell big sets, in like a 3 to 5 minute period, right? So we have a lot of different entities is all I want you to know. But right now, I just need you to know that what I really expect from y'all, is really just make sure that y'all are on time and that you bring your A game while we're together, right? Those are really my main expectations, okay? Now, throughout training today, make sure that y'all take a lot of notes, okay? Y'all met Tyler earlier. That was one of his tips, is like really be engaged, right? I feel like that's not even just a y'all's generation thing. I think that it's a everyone now. Ever since iPhones really came out, people just seem like they're not present anymore, right? Every time that my wife and I go on a date night, we'll see like couples that are literally like 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds, right? And they're literally on a date and they're just both in their faces and their phone. It's like, why are you doing date night, right? So I just want y'all to be present while y'all are here. Okay. And I definitely need a lot of energy. Okay. I will feed off of your energy. Okay. So I need lots of energy throughout the day. Now, these are some of our branch managers. So you met Gio and you met Ty. Okay. Macy, Fallon, Emma, and Tori are our other branch managers. Now, these are people who are their college students. Okay. And they run their own Cutco office in the summer. Right. So they get to learn how to run a business. And when I was 20 years old, I got to run my own business in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Where's my carry guy? Bam. Okay. And then where's my military guy that was in North Carolina? Traveled a lot. Wasn't that you, sir? Okay. What part of North Carolina? Durham. Okay. I'm from Raleigh. Now, But anyways, I got to run the branch when I was 20 years old, managed 119 people, broke all the records in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And it was my favorite summer that I've ever had still. Okay. They got to run their own office. Okay. Then they'll close it down and they'll go back to being a college student in the fall and spring. And their reps transfer to their district office so they can be managed year round. These are our district managers. This is their career position, where they run a Cutco office year round in all of the major cities throughout the state of Florida. Now, Haley Loudon, as you met earlier, is my right-hand person. Okay. So Haley is your manager. Haley will be the one coaching you. Okay. Haley is a bad to the bone person. Okay. So she was one of my top reps, right? She's a national champion, #1 in the nation, Silver Cup national champion. Okay. Then she became a branch manager. She was a #1 branch manager on the entire East Coast from Virginia all the way down to Puerto Rico. Now she's my pilot sales manager, and we're the #1 pilot in the nation. Does that make sense? Okay. So she's really, really, really good. Okay. So you want to talk to Haley a lot. Okay. The more you talk to her, the better you're going to do. Now, the other thing that I would write down is I'd write down coach versus boss, right? I think that a lot of people don't like doing what, like, I had all of those jobs, right? When I was 15, I rode my bicycle like a couple miles to the close, like McDonald's, and I got my worker's permit and, worked to save up money. So when I turned 16, I could get a car, right? And when they told me to take the trash out or mop the floor, scrub the toilet or whatever, because you start off in lobby, you never really wanted to, right? But you just did it because it was your job and they told you to, right? Hey, by the way, I did get promoted to fry guy, okay? And I made it all the way to the register, just saying, okay? Now, but I just want you to know that if Haley is like, hey, you want to do this, okay, view it like you're getting coached by a national champion, because you are. By the way, we're national champion office as well, right? We have a lot of silver cups in this office, right? Which is like a Stanley Cup, right? So just know if she's like, you probably want to do it this way. Hey, if you just never question it and just do it, it'll work every single time. Okay. My mom was like, when I started off when I was 17, my manager, Larry Manley, he was in the Hall of Fame as well. And every time he said, you should do it this way, right? I never even questioned it. I always just did it. And it always worked, right? And then my mom, a lot of times, was like, man, I've been telling you this for a long time, but you never listened to when I said it, right? Maybe it's just a little different when it's like a manager, but all I'm saying is this, okay? Coach, not boss, okay? To be transparent, the only reason I've ever had to fire someone is if they're consistently late to stuff, because then it just becomes annoying, right? Or if I felt like they're just like a negative person and they mess up the vibes of my team. Make sense? Okay, so coach, not boss. All right, that handsome man right there, that's me. Okay, I started in Raleigh, North Carolina. I ran a branch in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Became the sales manager in Columbia, South Carolina. Was the district manager in Augusta, Georgia, where I met my wife. Then got promoted to Greenville, South Carolina for 5 years. I've been in Florida and Orlando for like 12 years now. We're going to stay here for Hudson's going into 3rd grade. So 6 more years. Okay. And then we're moving to Destin and we're retiring there. And he'll start high school there. Now, all I really need you to know is that in a non-arrogant way, I've broken the record in every state: North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. We have the record for the entire Eastern region. We'll sell $2.3 million, like without breaking a sweat each year. Next closest might be at like 1.8 million, right? So I don't know everything about everything, but I definitely know how to coach people. And I know how to help you hit your goals. I know how to sell a heck of a lot of knives, right? So $44 million. Just so you know, it takes $10 million to be in the Hall of Fame of Cutco, and it's like 4.5x that, right? So, and I've been coaching Haley for many years now. Hey, she is really freaking good. Okay, so she is the one. Now, all right, we're gonna see how this music's playing here. Okay, now Gio, he loves it when I do that. Okay, can we get the music going? Oh, should I maybe just do it from this one? All right, I'm gonna have. Okay, so we can get the music playing. All right, I'm gonna have you watch this video. It's gonna be about 10 minutes. I want you to take notes on what sticks out to you. Then I'm gonna have y'all go around the group and share with me what stuck out to you. And if not, just hit play on that computer right there. Oh, perfect. All right, fast forward to 55 seconds. All right, perfect. All right, tell me what sticks out to you.
The best version of itself, to the extent that the people who drive that organization are trying to become better versions.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you in.
We'll go over that main training right now.
The income potential is fantastic, and it comes down to the more you work, the more you make. It is that simple.
One student who is currently working for Vector Marketing is interested in medical school. And we've talked often about his ambitions to become a doctor. And I've asked him on several occasions, so explain to me, how does this position with Vector Marketing fit in with your career goals? And he said very plainly, there are a couple of reasons why I continue to do this work. One, it's given me tremendous amount of self-confidence. Two, it's giving me money that I can use towards my medical school education. And three, it's giving me an opportunity to stand out as an applicant among thousands and thousands of other pre-med majors.
When I first started, a lot of people questioned why I was working for Vector, and several top sales rep awards later after running my own office. All these people are now my biggest supporters.
The greatest benefits of working for Cutco are the sales training program that the students go through. They learn all the skills that are going to be necessary for success on the job, both at the Cutco and in the future. When you work for a company that appreciates you as a person, that wants you to succeed as a person, it's so much easier to really learn how to do that.
And especially being a woman and being young and really being able to have that much control over your income and future and
When those first checks started arriving, I was all in. When I got that first check, I was, hey, this is real, this is awesome, and I dove in after that.
Once I did my first demo like speaking, I was like, oh, I have 36 new people to see. And I really saw how it did snowball.
Since I started last year, I saved over like 10 grand with this company, and it's gonna help me pay for school. I'm never gonna take out a student loan or anything.
This company really takes care of you. Those perks are nice. It's not your typical job. You'll have to work harder than maybe you would in a different job, but the rewards you get are far greater, and it's all worth it.
There's a lot of flexibility with your schedules, especially if you're in college like I was at the time.
The biggest thing that Vector taught me was time management, because I found in college that the time that I was working the hardest and in really excelling the most with Vector was also when I was getting the best grades, because I could schedule my time and, block out times for playing sports, studying for tests, doing appointments.
All my friends, nobody has the flexible schedule that I have. Wanted to move somewhere, you can always transfer.
I get to make my own schedule too, which is pretty darn nice. I mean, I go like this, if I want to take a day off. Hey, can I take a day off to work tomorrow? And then I go like this. Yeah, you can. And then I go like this. And I'm like, great, well, I'll see you on Tuesday. And that's all I have to do. It's really cool.
I'm planning on doing a mission trip in to Costa Rica after Christmas this year for 2 weeks. And wouldn't normally be able to do that with any other job. So it's pretty cool.
But basically funded my study abroad to Madrid. I got to go to Thailand. I've been to Japan, just all these things that I really wouldn't have thought to do had I not had the opportunity, like the flexibility and the income with Vector.
We have the greatest occupation in the world. That is an occupation where we help others to succeed.
These opportunities with Vector compare very favorably with sales opportunities with other companies that we work with. And in fact, I think, the training is better.
Being able to apply what they've learned and what they've taken away from the experience. I think that pretty well puts Vector over the top. I haven't seen a company come out with. Vector is a very professional company, provides an excellent sales training program. And in a nutshell, it's a great place to start. Every year in the career, they pull us over and ask them, can you please identify the students that have been involved with Vector those are the ones we want to talk to.
There's no way for you to know how good you can be until you put yourself out there and try it out.
If the dream is to become a player in a world-class, unique company, this future is as bright as the young men and women professionals that are running it. I would argue that you are living that dream right now.
All right. So tell me first, why did I play that video? Hey, who can tell me? Okay. Yeah, I want you to see all the benefits. I really want you to see from a lot of different perspectives, right? So for me, you know, all right, be honest. Raise your hand if after you got the job, hey, you obviously called up someone to brag, right? Like, hey, I got a new job, right? Hey, whether it's mom or boyfriend, girlfriend, whomever, right? Hey, raise your hand honestly if your job description, they're like, oh, that's awesome, honey. What's the job, right? Raise your hand if you said the 3 words that you should never say. I sell knives. Raise your hand if that was your job description. If you don't raise your hand, I don't believe you. Okay. Now, all right. So for me, I was like, oh, you know, I called up my best friend Brian because he was a lifeguard back in 1999. He made $5 an hour. And the base pay back then was $10.25, which was double, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I got this job. You know, I make, you know, double you, blah, blah, blah. You know, like best friends do, throw little jabs, right? And he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I sell knives, right? And he's like, oh, no one's going to buy any knives from you, blah, blah, blah. By the way, I sold his mom $1,000, okay? And his girlfriend's mom, that's now his wife's mom, his mother-in-law, a couple $1,000s worth of stuff, okay? And I sold over $200,000 in college, okay? But anyways, I got picked on. He's like, what are you talking about? No one's going to buy knives from you, blah, blah, blah. Then my parents came home from work, right? And I told my mom, and she's like, good job, honey, go get him, like super encouraging, like you can do it, right? And then my dad is like very anti, he's a retired lieutenant colonel in the army. And he was like, I don't know, I think you should just get a regular job, blah, 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 right? So my motivation was not to prove dad wrong, right? Good thing my mom wore the pants in the family, told him to be quiet, let me try this job out, right? Now, but I wanted you to hear from the parents who were skeptical at first, right? I wanted you to hear from the college professors. I felt like that might be the most important one for y'all, is to hear the college professors where they're like, yeah, when recruiters come to recruit our top college graduates, they say, who are the vector people? Can you identify them first, right? So perspective from lots of different people. And then of course the college kids, right? Because I'm the old guy to y'all, but here in the college kids, right? I have so many college kids that work with me that write their own check for their tuition, right? And their parents could afford it, right? But they don't want to ask their parents to pay for their stuff. Make sense, right? So Haley pays all of her own tuition. She pays all of her own rent. She pays all of her own bills, right? Her parents could help out, right? But she doesn't need them to. And that's really awesome, right? So tell me, what stuck out to y'all? Everything from the video. Let's just start rapid firing. Hey, yes, ma'am. All right, so pause. Okay, so super positive, upbeat environment. I don't work with negative people. I don't even associate with negative people, right? What I'm telling you is that you're gonna make great freaking friends here, okay? And all the people that you meet here, hey, maybe not all of them, okay? But I'll tell you that 90% of them, the ones that do Cutco through college, all of them, hey, they're gonna be very successful in their future endeavors of whatever that may be, okay? So good vibes, good positive upbeat energy, okay? Yes, ma'am. Advancement opportunities. Let's kind of list them all out, right? I'm just going to abbreviate stuff. So advancement opportunities. What's really cool is that we only promote from within, right? So if you had a typical clock in, clock out job, and let's say the boss's kid just graduated college, well, guess what? Most likely he's going to be your new boss, and you may know a whole lot more than him, right? As a matter of fact, I went to Dick's Sporting Goods 2 days ago to try out this new driver, right? And there's this older gentleman, you know, he might be like 60. He was really older, right? And he's like, and there's this younger, like 22-year-old kid, right? And he's like, yeah, he's my new boss, right? Hey, he reorganized everything the wrong way, blah, blah, right? But it's like, you know, either way, sometimes someone will get promoted just because of who they know. Make sense? Our president that you saw, Al DiLeonardo, I think he spoke like 2 or 3 times on that video. I have got to see all of his kids grow up. Him and I are super close. I've been to his house, you know, at least a dozen times. And all I've seen is kids since they were this big, right? All four of them sold Cutco, right? And the youngest one, Magellan, she was a branch manager. She was a top branch as well. Okay. But my point is they all start off at 10%, just like everybody else. They work their way up and they're not getting promoted because of their dad. They get promoted based on their work ethic, right? I hated the jobs where I found myself working harder than everybody else, but we all got paid the same, right? It's very like demoralizing, right? Hey, so here, if you're that kid that always worked harder than everybody else, guess what? You'll get promoted a lot faster than the other people, right? So what you put in is what you get out here. It doesn't matter your age, your race, your sex, none of that stuff matters, right? Hey, because business doesn't care. Make sense? Okay. All right. What else stuck out to y'all?
They seem to have certainty with their career trajectory, like they knew where they would be next.
Okay.
Oh, okay, if I do this, I can get there.
Okay.
They always have an idea of that.
Okay. How do I put that? Would that go under advancement? All right. We'll keep it with advancement there. But I know what you're saying. All right. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was 17 years old, right? I just knew I went to East Carolina University and graduated there. But I knew I wanted business because it was like an overall thing, right? And I'm like, okay, anything that pays money is a business. If I have a business degree, I'd be marketable, right? But with Cutco, it helped me kind of narrow it down. Like, did I want admin, marketing, management, et cetera, right? And all of the classes were really, really easy to me because when you're reading something in a textbook or the teacher's teaching something, I could just relate it back to a real live Cutco experience and it all made sense to me, right? So it can help with certainty in your path direction, okay? All right, what else stuck out to y'all? Terrell. Okay, all right, ridiculously high quality product. So I'm just gonna write down product. Okay, I was saying to Zoe, hey, who likes to cook, hey, she's like, oh yeah, they're gonna be really good knives, right? I'm like, they're the best, right? Now, if it was a bunch of junk, right, there's no chance that I would ever want to sell it. Make sense? So all the people that I started off with, a lot were soccer moms, baseball moms, and church members. Those were like my big categories, right? I wouldn't show family, friends, neighbors, church people stuff if it was a bunch of junk, right? Hey, if it was like a $10 Walmart knife and I knew it was going to break on them and like it would not be good, right? And I saw them a year later, I would feel guilty. Does that make sense? What I found, and it kind of actually frustrated me a little bit, then I appreciated it. So I started the summer when I graduated high school, then I moved away to college, right? And then you come back for Christmas break, right? Then you go back and then you come back for summer, right? When I went to church on the Christmas service, it was all of the ladies, right? They come run up to me and I was expecting them to say, hey, honey, I missed you. How's college? Like, how are you doing? Right. But their first words to me were like, Trey, oh my gosh, I love my Cutco, right? Every one of them just talk about the knives, right? And I'm like, well, what about this guy? You knew me before you knew the knives, right? But my point is that then I realized it's like, well, that's really awesome because they still think about me every time that they use it. They're ridiculously amazing products. I have a set in the drawer that's over 52 or over 70 years old. Okay. It was before the wedge lock handle came out in 1952. And it is absolutely flawless and perfect, right? So when you hook people up with Cutco, they're always going to remember you, right? And they're always going to love it. And we'll teach you later how you can send little email sales out to them, right? They always buy more, right? So I've never had a no sale ever in my life to anyone who owned Cutco. Okay. They always add on more stuff, right? We add new stuff every year just for all of our clients, right? So anyways, the products are amazing. Okay. What else stuck out to you? Okay. Travel. All right. Everybody write down travel. Okay. Now, all right. I'm going to say a couple things on this. Okay. One, maybe you've traveled a lot with your family. Awesome. Okay. When you travel with Vector people though, okay, it is really awesome. Okay. So instead of like going with mom and dad, you're going with like 100 to 200 fired up people your age. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, for the very, very, very top performers, okay, like you have to work very hard. Okay. I want to like let you know it is not easy, right? If it was easy, we would give you a French fry. Does that make sense? Hey, but for top performers, you will be able to win a tropical trip. I'll just leave it at that. It's all inclusive. Hey, it's in a different country. I'll leave it at that. Make sense? Haley will tell you all about that tomorrow. Now, you do have to be 18 to attend. Hey, we can't, if you're 17, we can't take you out of the country. It is called kidnapping. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so for the 17-year-olds that hit it, then I'll do something special for y'all. Okay, but we travel a lot. Okay, so our district managers and branch managers, they'll get 1 European trip every year and 2 tropical trips every year. Okay, as a sales rep, you get 2 tropical trips every year if you work hard. Does that make sense? You'll be able to win one during the summer, right? Now, right? And then you'll also be able to win one over winter break when you have a month with no school. Make sense? Okay. You want to know where we're going? Okay, I'm not gonna keep in secrets anyways. Okay, so anyways, so we're going to Cancun, okay, and we're staying at the Hard Rock. Okay, so there's a difference between Cancun and Cancun Hard Rock, right? Hey, this Cancun Hard Rock hotel, I've stayed there at least, I don't know, at least 6 times, right? It's got a 4-person jacuzzi in every room, right? It's all inclusive, okay? So if you're a big football guy, all the food you can eat free, okay? So you can eat like 12 breakfasts, you know what I mean? It is, you know, swim up, bar, infinity pool. I mean, we're talking top notch. If you've ever stayed at a Hard Rock, you understand Hard Rock's pretty top notch. Okay. So if you work very, very hard, okay, then you can win that. Okay. But we do travel a lot. We're going to Spain, and my wife and I are more fired up about going to Portugal before it and extending the trip. We got back from, Haley, where did we just get back from? Huh? The Bahamas, okay, and the European one. Oh yeah, we just got back from Ireland, okay, and that was our second time in Ireland. That was awesome, okay. Now, so anyways, if people work hard, then you can get rewarded really well, okay. All right, what else stuck out to y'all from the video? Oh, are you raising your hand or are you twiddling your dang pen? Okay, all right, we could go with both of them. I'm gonna write care. I know this sounds weird to you. We don't really even know each other very well, okay? But I just want you to know that if I'm ever coaching you or having a conversation with you and throughout training, right? I will train you and treat you just like you were my own kid, okay? I take it like your success very seriously, right? And I'm gonna make sure that you learn a lot this summer and hopefully beyond, right? And by the way, let me just address that real quick. Most of you just came in here because you want a summer job, make some money, and then you move away to college. Okay. A lot of you. Okay. That's all I was looking for when I was 17. Right. I just want you to know that you absolutely, everybody write down Cutco through college. You can put a question mark behind it. Okay. Cutco through college. Hey, but what's going to happen is that you work really hard this summer. Right. And you're going to be like right now, you know that you can get up to 30% on the incentive side, the commission side. Hey, but we also have monthly bonuses on top of that you can earn. When I was making 45 and 50% commission, right? I'm a Delta Chi. I went to ECU. I really didn't do any appointments, very rarely, Sunday through Thursday, because I was focusing on school and whatever else, right? I never worked during a home football game. I don't think one time that I did one demo on a home football game because we were tailgating and going to the games and whatever, right? Very rarely would I do an appointment on a Friday night, unless the lady was just going to buy a ton and it was the only time she could see me, right? But I would typically just sprinkle 5 appointments between a Friday afternoon, a Saturday if we didn't have a home football game, Sunday afternoon type deal. Do 5 appointments, sell $1,000 and make $500. That was back in 1999. You see what I'm saying? My fraternity brothers wouldn't make $500 if they worked 40 hours back then. All right. I work with UCF football players, so I get the schedule that you're going to have in the fall. Now they got the craziest schedules, right? They can't usually do 5 appointments a week, but maybe they just get like 1 or 2 here and there. Right. And it'll pay for whatever bills they have that week. Make sense? So either way, we do care about you. And I know that's hard for you to understand, but also realize that I handpicked all of these managers that are your managers across the whole state, right? All of them are amazing humans with outstanding integrity that actually really care about you. Okay. And I can't describe that in words enough right now. Okay. All right. What else stuck out to y'all? Let me get a couple more. All right. Flexibility, right? Now, for right now, the flexibility for y'all, a lot of y'all in the summertime is I want to go to the beach or I want to do this and whatever, right? Maybe you have another job, so you need the flexibility around that, right? You'll really appreciate the flexibility in the fall and spring though, okay? All right, what else stuck out to you? Oh, you know what, let me say this, and I actually want you to write this one down. Hey, I would just write flexible schedule, colon or hyphen. Hey, you want to take advantage, and what I would write is take advantage of the flexible schedule, comma, but don't allow the flexible schedule to take advantage of you. So I'll say that like 3 times. So take advantage of the flexible schedule, but don't allow the flexible schedule to take advantage of you. So take advantage of the flexible schedule, but don't allow the flexible schedule to take advantage of you. What does that mean?
Don't abuse the.
Well, it means just don't be lazy and don't work. Does that make sense? Right? Now, you want to take Friday nights off? Great. You want to go to the beach 4 days a week? Great. Okay. Who was that? Okay. Mercedes. Okay. Mercedes says, I love going to the beach. All right, cool. Go to the beach 5 days a week, work the other 2. Make sense? I don't care. It's your schedule. Right. And I want you to know too that our job as a management staff is just to help you hit your goals. Right. So today and tomorrow, it's all like group setting. Right. But during advanced training 1, we'll meet with all of you individually, find out exactly why you're here, right? Hey, for some of you, it's a certain resume. For some of you, it's a certain amount of income that you need, so you don't have to call mommy and daddy and ask them for money every week in the fall. Hey, some of you need to buy a car, whatever the case may be. Our job is just to help you hit your goals. We're never going to ask you to do more, all right? But we'll hold you accountable to make sure that you're hitting your goals. Make sense? Okay, what else stuck out to y'all? Okay, the scholarships, okay? Now, so the scholarships, okay, there's multiple scholarships, okay, and then we'll talk about those later, okay, but there's All-American scholarship, there's a team builder scholarship, hey, there's an Eastern Region scholarship, right? Okay, all right, what else stuck out to y'all? There we go. All right, I think that now all of them are important for me, hey, as the 41-year-old. Okay, the most important one for me is this: skills for life. Okay. Guys, I even like help grown adults in my church with time management, right? So sometimes we'll kind of get in a circle and everybody just kind of shares stuff, right? I remember there's Terry and another one too. And they were like, yeah, I just lay in bed and I just can't ever go to sleep, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, so please pray for me with this, right? But I knew what was happening, right? They don't have a planner. They're not good at time management. And every time that they lay in bed, they're thinking about all the things that they need to do that they haven't done, right? So I make them buy a certain planner. I teach them time management, right? All I'm saying is we're going to teach you stuff that you're not going to learn in school, okay? I think that for me right now, my main one for y'all, okay, would be grit, okay? So maybe I'd write grit, okay, besides skills for life, okay? Now, how do you think that your parents' generation views y'all's generation as a whole? That's exactly what we think. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. 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 All of those. Okay. Now, okay, definitely get their feelings hurt, don't have grit, or right, all of these things, right? Now, can you say a whole generation? Right. Obviously, you can't do that, right? But that would be the common trend, right? I just want to make sure that y'all develop grit. Okay, that might be like the most important skill that you develop in life. You know what? I'll have you write this down. And it's not even biblical, but my pastor always talks about this. He's like, you're either in a storm, or you just exited a storm, or you're about to enter a storm. So just write that down. Either you're in a storm, like you're going through tough times, or you just exited one, like you just got out of those tough times, things are looking pretty good, or you're about to enter one. It's an inevitable part of life, right? So the key is, how do you take those challenges on, right? You know, it's like when there's a rainstorm, cows, they just like lay down. They're like, oh, it's about to rain, and they just lay down and just get soaked, right? But a buffalo, when there's a storm coming, the buffalo charges right through the storm, so it gets done faster and it can dry off quicker, right? I want y'all to be the buffalo, okay? So be the buffalo, right? Raise your hand if you ever played a sport. Okay, we work with a lot of athletes. Okay, so you see this, okay? Now, I like working with athletes because they usually have a whole lot more grit than the ones that weren't, okay? They understand if you're down at halftime to rally the team, get your head in the game, and come back and freaking win, right? They also understand work hard in practice, it pays off in the game, right? Hey, so I love working with athletes, okay? They do very well here, right? Raise your hand if you ever did theater, like acting or drama, okay? All right, those kids always do really well here too, okay? I'm literally gonna give you a manual, and you read it and you put your personality into it. It's like, they'll be the easiest thing for you, okay? Now, So those kids always do well. Okay, I want you can all write this number down, 876. Anyone want to guess what that is? 876. That's how many people applied to work here, okay, this week. Darn, yes, that's right. Darn is what he meant to say. Now, okay, now, and then you know what? And I'm not even getting on him, but just so y'all get it, hey, don't curse in public around here. Okay. Now, by the way, if we're talking one-on-one, it won't offend me, right? But if it offends anyone in the room, then it offends me. Does that make sense? Right? Now, so 876 people applied for the job here in the Orlando office last week. Y'all are the chosen ones. You are the chosen ones. Okay. Now, so I just want you to know that there's like 850 plus people that are still unemployed right now. Right now, the reason that you got chosen is because you left a strong impression with the manager, right? Where they know that deep down that they know that you could succeed at a high level here. Okay. Now, a lot of y'all, we mainly work with people who hear about the job from a friend. Okay. Now, and this time, right, like this week and next week, and maybe one more week, we'll also have a lot of mailers, right? Because we send out letters to like the high school graduates, and we send out letters to the college students that just came back. Does that make sense? And I believe in the mailers because that's how I heard about the job, right? Now, but any week besides this week, next week, and possibly the following week, if I say, how'd you hear about the job? Raise your hand if you heard about the job from a friend. It's like 90%. Okay, because we already like those kids. They're already on our team. Birds of a feather flock together, and I'm going to want to work with their friends. Does that make sense? Now, out of curiosity, how did everybody hear about the job? So raise your hand if you heard about the job from a friend. Okay. All right. So about half the room. Okay. Now, all right, Salad. Well, we like your friends, so we knew that we would like you. Right now, or most likely we would. Right now, raise your hand if you got a letter in the mail. Okay. All right. Okay. Great. Okay. And then raise your hand if you heard about us online. Okay. All right. So just a few. Okay. Now we weed out a lot of those kids. Okay. It's a mixed bag when you put an ad on like Career Builder or Hot Job or Snag Job. Right. Okay. So we work with a lot of different people. Okay. But the majority of our people hear about the job because they have a friend that works here. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else stuck out to y'all from that video? No, I mean, I think resume, right? Okay. So let's write down resume. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. And they don't just start that way, right? It's a mindset that gets developed over time, right? Okay. So we'll stick that under skills for life. Anyone else have anything else that's not on the board? Okay. All right. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll put time management skills for life. Okay.
People like with their confidence level.
Okay. Yes. All right. Everybody write down confidence. Okay. All right. I'm really glad that you just said that. And I'm going to end it on that one for time's sake. And it was a big one. Okay. I want everyone to draw a circle. Now, if you're taking notes on a laptop, then just try your best to figure out how to make a circle. Hey, but I just want y'all to write down comfort zone. Okay. So everybody has a comfort zone. Now, if I went back through all of your welcome sheets and you wrote down what your proudest accomplishment was, I guarantee you, it was something that you had to step outside of your comfort zone for. Okay. Anything that you're proud of, you stepped outside of your comfort zone, you had a lot of adversity thrown your way and you overcame it. And that's why you're proud of it. Okay. If you stay inside of your comfort zone, can you grow? Yes or no? Literally impossible. Okay. Now I want to recognize, hey, well, then I would just draw, I'm gonna have you draw two more, but just draw an arrow stepping outside of the comfort zone. That's where all the growth happens. Okay. Now, for all of you, okay, I already know, but 10% of you are fired up right now. You have buddies that work here, they're killing it. And you're like, I get it. Read the manual of married women and let's cut some stuff, right? Okay, let's freaking go. Do I really even need to be here? Just give me the manual. Okay. That's what 10% of you feel like, right? Hey, 10% of you are so nervous right now. And you're just trying your best to hide it, right? Oh my gosh, is it gonna work? I've never done anything like this. Okay, cool. Okay, you'll feel more confident as we go throughout training. Okay. 80% of you are somewhere in the middle. You're excited, you're nervous, you don't know what you feel, but you definitely feel something, right? Okay, well, that's what happens every single time you step outside of your comfort zone, right? Now, what I want you to know is that as you step outside of your comfort zone, eventually what's going to happen, okay, is your comfort zone will expand. Okay, so I would just draw another circle. And so right now, the scariest part for y'all when y'all are brand new is making phone calls. Okay. You like doing the appointments, you know, sip their lemonade, eat their food. You do what college kids do, right? Okay. And the products sell themselves. That's what you're really going to understand. Just stick the product in front of it. They cut stuff, they want it. Okay. We're also half the price of our competition and we're guaranteed forever. And we cost 3 times more to make. It's handcrafted in America. They're bad to the bone. You'll never find a better knife. Okay. And I'm not just saying that because I work here, right? Like I have all the best knives in the world in my drawer. We put them side by side. We'll dominate them in every category. Okay. But eventually, when you step outside of your comfort zone, then eventually you feel comfortable here, right? And so the last thing I'll have you do on this little illustration or diagram is that you have to constantly keep pushing your stuff outside of your comfort zone if you're going to continuously grow, right? And no matter what, you're either green and growing or you're brown and dying, period. You're never staying in the same. Because if you're staying in the same, the world's going to keep getting better and keep growing and you get left behind, right? So what I would just, the last thing I'd write below this, not part of the diagram, but I would just write confidence checkpoints, 3 and 10. Okay, so I don't just write 3 and 10, write confidence checkpoints, okay, 3 and 10. So we're going to book 5 appointments in class today at the end. Okay, and we'll do it together as a team, which is way less nervous. Back in the day, we didn't have a cell phone, right? So we had to go home and make our phone calls, right? I was so nervous to make my first phone call. Hey, but you just read the manual and every single person will say yes. Okay, and I know that may sound weird to you, but at the end of the, literally all of y'all together, at the end of the day, he'll be like, raise your hand. If everyone that answered said yes, and every single hand will go up. Does that make sense? Okay, now. Once you booked your 3rd appointment on the phone, you're like, okay, I'm getting more comfortable, right? And once you've booked 10, you're like, I'm the man, whoever answers the phone's booking a demo. Make sense? It'll be the same thing with your appointments, okay? Even if your first appointment is killer and you sell a whole lot of stuff and you get, 50 recommendations and blah, 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 it'll still be your most nervous appointment, even though my first one was my mom and dad. You see what I'm saying? But once you've done 3, you'll start to feel like you're getting into the swing of things, right? Once you've done 10, you're like, again, hey, like, I'm going to have fun on this appointment. Blaze is going to get something most of the time. Okay. Like 85% of the time. Now, so keep in mind those confidence checkpoints. Okay. Especially innovator, right? Raise your hand if you're merchant innovator or innovator merchant. Raise your hand. Okay. Now, we work with a lot of y'all, because merchants like to talk to people. They're social people, right? Innovators are very intelligent and they don't want to waste their time doing something that's not going to help them. Okay. What I would write down if you are a merchant innovator or innovator merchant, your biggest, your 2 biggest like insecurities, okay? Number 1 is looking foolish in public, okay? So you don't like to read the manual, okay? Because you're like, oh my gosh, if I just read the manual, right? No, stick your face in the book and read the dang manual, right? Okay, it's like when we're seeing people that we know really well, like I already know her really well. It's my mom, it's my aunt, right? It's my best friend's mom. But you don't know the material really well. Just stick your face in the book and read it, right? Part of the phone call is like, hey, I get $20 for practice. Can I practice with you? Well, if you're like making all this eye contact and doing all this stuff, right? No, like just stick your face in the book and read it, right? Okay, and then you're going to get it down the right way, and then I can teach you how to elevate it, right? Because you have a solid foundation, right? This weekend's all about making a solid foundation, so you're getting comfortable with the script, right? The other thing that I would write down if you're a merchant innovator merchant, you have a tendency to overthink a lot of things, okay? You'll spend more time overthinking, like thinking about something that's a task. You'll spend more time thinking about it than it would have taken to just do the task, right? So just don't overthink, right? It's a very simple job. I wouldn't say it's easy, right? Making French fries is easy, okay? But it's a very simple job. Read the manual to married women and cut stuff, and then call Haley at the end. Does that make sense? Yes? Yes? Okay. All right. Next thing that I want you to know that I don't think that most of you do know, okay, is that people go to college and they graduate and they don't get jobs. Okay, that's what you need to understand, right? Now, so Newsweek, millennial college graduates, young, educated, jobless. Okay, the Huffington Post, the majority of the unemployed went to college, 57%. Hey, Wall Street Journal, the average kid graduates $35,000 in debt. Hey, 40%, according to, was it Georgetown University, 40% of the unemployed is y'all's generation. Hey, the one I want you to write down, hey, with CNBC, it's 21% of college graduates get jobs when they graduate. 21%. Yeah, that's like 1 out of 5. Okay, now, if they told you that in freshman orientation, getting groups of 5, circle up, hey, out of you 5, hey, most of you will have $35,000 in debt. You'll give away 4 years of your life for free, hey, and 1 of the 5 of you will get a job. Probably a lot of people would drop out of college, right? What you need to understand is that your college is 100% a business. Everything's a business, okay? Your church, temple, mosque, it's a business, okay? Your school is a business. It's cost me the same amount, hey, for this building, the AC, the teacher salary, et cetera, if I have 1 kid in the classroom or if I have 100 kids in the classroom paying tuition. You see what I'm saying? Hey, they're definitely for profit, right? Now, the other thing I want you to kind of understand is this. And by the way, I'm not saying to drop out of school and sell knives. Let me make that clear, right? I got my degree and you know what I mean? Okay, and almost all my district managers have a college degree, okay? Now, but I do want you to write down old economy versus new economy, right? So old economy, like in your parents' day, and almost even in my day, okay, it was very simple. Go to college, get a degree, and you get a good job. That's just how it was, right? But I just want you to understand the difference in the times. Hey, there were less people with a college degree, so it was worth more, and there were more jobs in America. Everybody get that? Okay. And then now, hey, a lot of people have a college degree and there are less jobs in America. So understand it's not worth as much, right? So keep in mind too, right? When you take advice, okay, there's something called a 90-10 rule, where 90% of people want to give advice, right? But only 10% are credible on the source, right? Like I wouldn't take advice from someone who's been divorced 10 times on how to have a good marriage. I wouldn't take advice from someone who's broke on how to become a millionaire, right? And I wouldn't take advice from someone who is overweight on how to get in health, good health, right? So keep in mind the source, okay? And I do want you to understand that I might be your most credible source on the next 4 years of your life, right? Think about it. I've trained over 10,000 college kids. I've been in this field for 24 years. You see what I'm saying? Hey, like I know the future, right? So either way, keep that in mind. Now, let's go to more current, right? So JMU, okay, 2020 college graduates walk across the stage into crippling unemployment. So let's kind of just do a quick recap of the last 3 years. So March 2020, okay, we were one of the last flights. We were in Paris when COVID hit, and we were like one of the last flights to get back in America. It was crazy. But anyways, everything hit. Think about it. The college graduates graduate beginning of May, right? Well, COVID just hit mid-June, or excuse me, mid-March, right? 6 weeks before they graduate. Well, no one was hiring, right? So all of these people graduate, have all this college debt. Guess what? They have to move back in with mommy and daddy, right? Okay, and they can't find a job. So then next year's graduates come, 2021, right? And now not only are they just competing against their peers, they're competing against the kids that didn't get jobs last year. They're desperate because they've been living with their parents for a while, right? Okay, and then we overhired because remember, you went to restaurants and there was like 20,000 open tables and you're like, have a 45-minute wait. And you're like, why? Right. They're like, well, I don't have any servers, right? Everyone had a now hiring sign because no one wanted to work because our government was getting everybody money to not work, just to be completely transparent, right? Now, so why would I work if I can just collect checks and not work, right? So then we couldn't get enough workers, right? And that was rough. And then we hired too many people, right? And now everybody's getting laid off, right? So Apple laid off over 20,000 people, IBM, Salesforce, Twitter laid off 80% of their staff, right? Because they realized we don't need all of these people. All I need is 1 out of 5 to run the business, right? So now it's getting way more challenging, right? So I just want you to realize that like you're going to be in competition with all of these people, not just your graduating class. Many college graduates, relying on unemployment to pay the bills. Half of college graduates headed for unemployment. The misfortune of graduating in 2020 will take 10 years or more to recover from. Now, raise your hand if you've heard of Tony Robbins. Okay, already like y'all more. Okay, now, all right. So Tony Robbins, self-help guru. This guy is ridiculous. Okay, like literally kings and presidents of countries will pay him a ton of money to help analyze stuff, right? He is probably the best at finances. His book, Money Master the Game, was like the best book that I've ever read on finances. Now I would want you to read probably 2 or 3 other books prior to that one that's like really advanced, right? But either way, I've spent thousands of dollars to go to his conferences. He's just a really great like guru on self-growth and self-help. Anyways, everybody write that quote down. Okay, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. Well, that just makes sense. So if I'm broke and I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna stay broke, right? Hey, if my resume sucks and I keep doing what I'm doing, then my resume will continue to suck, right? So if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. Now, I want you to understand, hey, a lot of y'all are talking about the positive vibes and everything. Hey, our culture in our office, hey, and our division and a whole vector marketing as a whole, hey, is unbelievably upbeat and fired up. Okay. What do you need? Okay. Now, so this is us in Atlanta, Georgia, taking home our national championship. Okay, so Silver Cup, again, it's like a Stanley Cup. It's #1 in all of United States and Canada. Now, this is our Thanksgiving dinner, right? So the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, hey, I'll have my wife make a couple big turkeys. Hey, everybody brings in a side, and we have like a big, it's like a big family. Okay, so big family dinner. Okay, for the top people, I'll take y'all out to fancy restaurants. I like to eat. Hey, so that was Maggiano's. It was actually the very first time that I met Haley. Hey, and Gio, look at Gio with his bushy hair. Now, anyways, but we'll have fancy dinners and stuff for top performers. Hey, that was us, doing a top golf thing. Some of our TL League guys, we did Wakaiva Island and did the VIP cabana and had a day. That was Margaritaville. I think that was in the Bahamas. Okay, that we just got back from not too long ago. And that was our last VCAs. Okay. Now, Florida Atlantic Elite. Okay. So our mission, and you don't necessarily need to write it, okay, but our mission is to build and develop great people. Okay. That's what my job is to do. Okay. Take you with wherever you are, right? And teach you how to be a butt kicker in life. Okay. Now, our goal here in Orlando, our goal is to impact 200 people this summer. Okay. So 200 people impacted this summer. Some people just work with us for a month or 2 or 3, right, throughout the summertime, and then they leave, and then they don't do anything in the fall and spring, and then it is what it is. Okay, but I guarantee that they learned a ton, and it's going to help them be more successful in life. That'll be some of you. Okay, some of you will do cut through college and do it super part-time in the fall, and make full-time pay working very part-time. Awesome. Whatever it is that you want to gain here, our job is just to make sure that you get it. Now, I do want you to write down AIR, AIR. Okay, this is what we're about. So the A is authentic. I want you to be comfortable in your own skin, okay, and be authentic when you're with your customers. Okay, the I is integrity, making sure that we do things the right way. Always. Okay, now, obviously, we're starting off with family, friends, church people, neighbors, soccer moms, cheerleading moms. Lacrosse moms buy the most Cutco out of every sport, by the way. If you have any lacrosse friends, go see their moms. Okay, they buy a lot. I don't know what it is. Lacrosse moms love Cutco. They can't get enough Cutco. Now, but of course, when you're seeing family and friends, of course, you're going to be upfront and honest with them. You're not going to like lie to your mother about stuff, right? Okay, and you don't need to. It's Cutco, right? Just be transparent. Okay, but always do things the right way with integrity. Okay, and then the R is resilient, right? And that's the most important one for me. It goes back to the grit, develop thick skin, right? But I need y'all to develop a lot of resiliency here. Okay, now training. Okay, all right. So I did update it right. Okay, so as you know, we'll get done at 6 o'clock today. We'll be done with all the teaching stuff around 5, and then we'll all jump on the phone. We'll book up 5 appointments. Once you get your 5, high five Haley, and then you go home. Okay. Now tomorrow we're at 10:30 to 5:30. Okay, and then again, the last hour we'll get 5 appointments, high five Haley, and then roll. Okay. Now, what I need you to write down that none of you have the time of, all you know is from the interview, we said that there's advanced training 1 and advanced training 2 throughout your first week. Advanced training 1 is the only long one. Okay. And it's from 10 to 2. So 10 to 2 on Monday. Now, if any of you have any certain conflicts, you're out of town or you have a work thing, then talk to Haley. We'll figure it out. Okay. Now, but it's 10-2. I will tell you that I will triple your knowledge on selling Cutco. Okay. And out of that meeting, I'm going to be teaching for 2 hours. And those 2 hours, I'll triple your knowledge of selling Cutco. Okay. Y'all will meet Michael Stones later. He was the captain at Palm Beach Atlantic, of the basketball team, his sophomore, junior, and senior year. And in his training class, there was 20 people in his training class, and he was literally number 17 out of 20 his first weekend. He only sold $800. Okay, didn't even get his first pay raise, right? And he's super competitive, right? And anyways, hey, so he was super frustrated, right? And then in advanced training, right after he left advanced training, within the next 36 hours, like that day and the next day, that night and the next day, he sold $4,500, right? And he ended up having a $15,000 fast start, which means he sold $15,000 his first 10 days. He made $3,500. And then we have the big push, which is called SC2 Summer Conference 2. And it's a Super Bowl of Cutco, right? And he sold over $30,000 in 2 weeks and was the #1 rep. Okay. Now, so I do want you to understand, I don't really care how well you start. I mean, I want you to start off really well, right? I'm going to train you to go out and kick butt, right? But advanced training fixes whatever issues you may have, right? See, all of y'all are going to have different things. Just like I'm really good at math, I'm awful at spelling, right? And my wife is my opposite. She's really great with grammar and spelling, but she's not very good at math, right? Some of you are going to have 100% sales ratio and a high average order, but maybe you stink at recommendations, right? Some of you may have, a low average order, right? But you're killing it on recs, right? It doesn't really matter where you are. I'm going to tweak it all up, okay, in advanced training, but I just need you to go out there, get 10 appointments so we have a foundation, so I have data to analyze so I can help you. We already talked about the 10% excited, 10% nervous, 80% in the middle. All right, next thing, I want you to write these 3 E's: energy, enthusiasm, excitement. Energy, enthusiasm, excitement. Now, there may be 1 or 2 of you that brought a highlighter. That's awesome. I already like you more now. Okay, but 90% of you didn't, and I know I didn't when I was in training. All right, I'm gonna have you highlight certain things because the top people are gonna review their notes tonight and have the main things jump out at you. So everybody catch, don't be the kid who gets caught in the face. You ready? Oh, you're about to get it. Psst. Okay, all right, let's go. All right, bam, 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 bam. Oh, nice. Oh, all right, nice. Okay. It's one of my favorite parts of training. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, close. All right, everybody highlight energy, enthusiasm, excitement. Now, if you actually looked up the definition of a sale, the definition of a sale is a transfer of enthusiasm from one person to the other. Hey, you just need to get fired up, okay, on your appointments, okay, and you will magically sell a whole lot more. I remember when I was in training, because I didn't cook. Hey, you have one? Okay. You're welcome. I didn't cook. I was 17. I hadn't even moved off to college. My mom did all the cooking. Hey, I never watched her cook. Right. And I remember when we were cutting rope and leather and stuff, the managers were getting all fired up. Right. And I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't have said it out loud because I've been negative. But I'm like, isn't it supposed to do that? Right. Anyway, that's why the people who cook, you do have a really big advantage. Hey, because you're going to appreciate it a whole lot more. Right. But here's the deal. Y'all need to get fired up about the products. Okay. So the more excited you are, okay, the more excited they are. Okay, and then the better you do. Make sense? Now, all right. Did y'all all see the penny cut in your interviews or no? No? Okay. Now. Okay. Now, so these are our scissors. Okay. Is this a regular penny? Okay. All right. So regular penny. Okay. These are our scissors. Okay. And okay. Now, so what does that tell you about the products? Dude, these things are freaking ridiculous, people. Okay. Now, so you, okay, don't worry, we're cutting pennies tomorrow. Okay. don't be the kid that forgets the pennies. We're literally going to give you like, here's your homework, and it's going to say bring 3 shiny pennies. Okay, because 1982 and older are made of pure copper. It'll still cut it, but it's a little harder. So don't be the kid that doesn't bring the pennies. Okay, and no, you can't cut a quarter. You can't cut a dime or above. It's called defacing government property. Okay, and there's no one in this room, maybe possibly Jack, that could even cut a nickel. I've only had one time have I ever seen it cut, and it was a UCF football player. Now, anyways, but the products are amazing. Okay, later today I'm gonna take a freaking, or it'll be Haley. I got meetings at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. We'll take a little grape, size of your like thumbnail. I can at least get 10 slices out of it. I'm talking about I can cut this little squishy grape into like contact lens thin slices. Are you with me? Okay. I'll do a whole pineapple, the whole thing into bite-sized pieces. I can do it in less than 30 seconds. Okay. Halo will do it in less than a minute. By the way, it would take your mom at least 5 to 10 minutes. Does that make sense? The products are awesome. Okay. We have a conference on June 14th. The top people will get invited to it. But one of the things that we're going to do is it's a Cutco product conviction talk, right? Okay. I've literally been on stage, okay, with over 100 people. And I'm like, you walk up to the stage, you got to put him in a microphone. And I had a watermelon. I had a kid on the ground level holding one of our knives, Mr. Nasty, over his head. And I'll drop a watermelon right at the kid's face. Okay. It hits the knife, it splits in half and doesn't even touch his head. Are you with me? Hey, the products are ridiculous. We'll do a little Fruit Ninja stuff, right? We're going to do a lot of stuff. Okay. All I'm telling you is you just need to know that the knives are ridiculous. Everything that we put our name on is the best of its kind. We won't put our name on it if it's not, right? And I'll just go to the weirdest thing possible. Our cutting board is the best cutting board on the planet. Doesn't that just sound weird? What do you mean? It's a freaking cutting board, right? Well, ours are guaranteed forever, right? So when it gets scratches in it or it gets stained up from the foods or whatever, guess what? You just mail it back and they'll give you a new one forever. You'll never have to buy another cutting board forever, right? All of our products are ridiculous. Okay. Oh, you like to hunt? Any of y'all like to hunt or fish? Okay. Who likes to fish? All right, this will be the last thing I'll show you real quick. Hey, now, y'all check out our fishing knife. By the way, who's military family? Hey, y'all heard of K-Bar? We own K-Bar. We supply all of our troops with all of their fighting knives. Okay. And by the way, y'all can get K-Bar at 50% off. Okay, just so you know. Now you're here. All right, but anyways, fishing knife, right? So first of all, the blade. Oh, by the way, how long is the fishing knife guaranteed for? Forever. Everything that we have is guaranteed forever. Well, especially in Florida, they do a lot of saltwater fishing. Guess what? Saltwater causes rust. If they get rust on it, they send it back. We'll give them new ones forever. Last fishing knife you'll ever have to buy. All right. Now, but anyways, the blade, okay, it's got a little cam lock here. It'll adjust 6 to 9 inches, and it's got a measuring thing on it, right? Okay, so adjust for the size fish. Okay, the blade will pop out, so that way you can just throw it in the dishwasher and the hole goes through the bottom, right? So it won't get waterlogged, right? The sheath is pretty awesome. Okay, so you stick the knife in the sheath. It creates a line cutter. So if you get a big fish and you need to cut the line real quick, or shark or whatever, right? You can cut it without having to be pulling on it and try to pull out a knife and do all that, right? And it opens up for spare grippers, right? And it's got a fish hook sharpener, or you can touch up the blade on the back, built in, right? Is that a pretty awesome fishing knife? Yes or no? Oh, absolutely. Okay. So we saw a lot of those. Everything that we put our name on will be the best. I just want you to understand that. Okay. Now, all right, but back to y'all. Energy, enthusiasm, excitement. Okay. Was I super fired up about the Cutco knives when I was a 17-year-old kid my first weekend? Absolutely not. I tried to get excited, but I didn't really understand the awesomeness fully. But I fed off of my customers. You see what I'm saying? When I'm seeing a 40-year-old married lady and she's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm like, okay, all right, it makes me, all right, it is amazing, right? If you say it is, then it is, because you're the one that cooks, right? Get fired up. Now, let me back this up. We all have different energy levels, right? I have a very high energy level. I actually tone it down in training because I don't want to scare you with my energy level, okay? Now, but if you are typically operating at a 6 out of 10, all I'm saying is increase it to an 8 when you're with your customers. Then your customers are going to be more excited and you're going to sell more. right? And you're gonna get more recommendations because they had a more fun and they had a better time. Make sense? Hey, if you operate at like a 9, cool, take it up to a 10, right? So do y'all want to sell little small sets or do y'all want to sell big sets? What do you want to sell? Well, if you want to sell big sets, get more excited. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'd write that down. Whatever your level is, increase it to when you're with your customer. You're going to sell a lot more. Oh, and by the way, the virtual demo is awesome. Hey, we sell the same amount. Hey, I think that the average sales ratio for us, okay, as an office, we sell about 80% of the time. Hey, that'll be some kid at 70%, and then my top kid's at 90. And some of you will go 100% for a while. The best I ever had was Anna Joyner, 72 sales in a row. I don't know if anyone will ever beat that. All right, that was like 10 years ago. You see what I'm saying? Hey, now, so here's the deal. Virtual demos are going to be more boring. I don't know. The penny cutting video, we got to make a better one. It is the most boring penny cutting video I've ever seen. Okay. So if you're doing a virtual demo, don't play the video there. Just pull out, you're going to have the scissors. I'm going to loan you $400 worth of stuff tomorrow for free. Make sense? Okay. Cut the dang penny. Are you with me? Okay. Now, okay. You're going to love it. Now, cut the dang penny. Don't play that silly video. Okay. And those videos are going to be more boring, but they're more convenient because you don't have to drive anywhere and whatever. Right. All I'm saying is definitely on a virtual demo, increase the energy. Okay. Did everyone highlight energy, enthusiasm, excitement? Okay. Perfect. All right. All right. Cutco sells Cutco. Okay. All I want you to understand. Okay. All I want you to understand. And yeah, if you like to put your phones on like airplane, at least do not disturb, right? And then maybe vibrate. That's okay. It happens every training class. Now, but understand, you don't need to be like great at sales or something. Let's just go back and even think about this. We work with a lot of 17 to 22-year-olds. They've never sold anything in their life. They don't cook most of the time, and they know nothing about knives. And we take that, hey, and we're the #1 selling cutlery in North America, and we sell more than number 2, 3, and 4 combined. And we don't pay for any commercials. What does that tell you? That the product sell itself, right? You, no matter how well I train you, hey, there's not going to be any 18-year-old kid that's going to close this 40-year-old business professional into buying a bunch of stuff. You see what I'm saying? I don't even want you to. All you need to do is just get fired up and cut stuff. Does that make sense? They're going to like it. They're going to want it. And then we're going to give them the family friend discount when it's close family and friends. And then they're usually going to get it. Does that make sense? Okay. So don't complicate the process. Now, it's not a question, do people get, right? Okay. It's what set are they going to get? They're going to get a small, medium, or large. And it really just depends on how well you pay attention in training, right? Hey, I'm telling you right now, hey, like I could tell you right now who the top people are going to be, like you just know, right? But here's the deal. The people who are sitting up straight, making good eye contact, taking a lot of notes, right? These are the kids that are going to do the best. Make sense? Okay. So pay attention, be into it, right? So we've been doing it 74 years. It's not like a question, right? Okay. It's not a theory. Follow the recipe. Okay. And here's what I want you to get with the recipe part. Okay. If you did 8 out of the 10 steps right, but you didn't do 2 of them, then you're not going to get the desired result. Does that make sense? Like sometimes we'll have cookouts. My wife is super antisocial. Okay. So she hates it when I have a bunch of people over, but I can convince her to do it a couple times a year. Okay. Now, but either way, let's just say you got invited to a cookout, with our team or whatever, and she made this awesome cake. So she just made this Snickers cake. Like my wife loves to cook. Okay. And I love to eat. Okay. Now, but she makes this Snickers cake, freaking unbelievable, right? It's like a chocolate cake, and then she she injects caramel in the cake, right? And then it crumbled up. Either way, it's killer. She just made it like 2 days ago. My son is like 8 years old. He tries to eat everything. I got to make sure he doesn't eat all the cake. But let's just say that you came over. Sorry, I lost train of thought there. Okay. And you're like, oh, that's a great cake. Can I get the recipe? Right. And she gives you the recipe. And let's just say it says add a cup of sugar, right? I don't cook. It'll be obvious when I'm trying to make an analogy. But let's just say you're saying, I'm trying to watch my calories. I'm going to do a cup of Splenda instead, right? And then let's say it says bake for 45 minutes on 350. And you're like, I'm hungry. I'm going to do it for 30 minutes on 500, right? But you did everything else right. Are you going to end up with the same cake? No. So follow the recipe. Read the manual of married women and cut stuff up and be excited and then just call Haley, right? Now, I want you to write this one down and highlight this one. Read, smile, cut, call. Read, smile, cut, call. Read, smile, cut, call. Does anywhere in it say be smart? No. I was a 3.2 GPA type of man. Okay. I'm fine with that. Okay. I've worked with the valedictorians who, graduated high school with their AAs and blah, blah, blah. I have multiple of them on my team right now. That wasn't even a thing when I was in school, but it didn't matter. I wouldn't have qualified regardless. Here's the deal. Can you all read? Yes or no? Can you smile? Let me see it. Let me see. Okay. All right. Yes. That's a killer smile right there. He's going to sell a lot. Okay. Now read, smile. Y'all can all cut stuff. Didn't you just cut the rope and leather earlier? All right, great. And then you know how to, you might not know how to operate a phone. You think it's for Snapchat. Okay. It's actually a telephone is made to talk on. Make sense? Okay. So call Haley at the end of the demo. Read, smile, cut, call. Oh, did y'all highlight that one? I want you to highlight that one. Read, smile, cut, call. I think I have like 8 slides in here on saying read, smile, cut, call. I'll skip over the other ones, but I want to emphasize it. Now, I do want you to write down how to rock this job, and I'm going to give you, I think it's 3 steps. So how to rock this job. Like none of you are here because you want to be average or below average, right? You're here because you want to kick butt and take names, all right? So how to rock this job. All right, number 1, okay, get a lot of names and numbers. Okay, so I'd write that down. Get a lot of names and numbers. I'm actually going to take probably 5 minutes right now just to walk y'all through that. Okay, so I'm not going to say any names out loud to make anyone feel bad. Hey, some of you have 10, 11, 33, 25, 12, 15, 30. This is how many numbers y'all came in with. 14, 30, 31, 31, 30, 15, 10, 10, 30, 30, 30, 20, 24, 12, 30, 30, 15. Okay, now, all right. All right, let me help y'all get more numbers. So I would just we're going to bullet point a bunch, like make a bunch of things underneath this. I'm going to throw out what works. I've obviously trained 10,000 people. Hey, and I did it myself, right? Just write the ones that stick out to you, right? Like if I say church and you don't go to church, temple, or mosque, then don't write it. Does that make sense? Now, for me personally, right? My biggest categories, well, number 1, I would write down mom, right? Now, maybe your mom's not in the picture. I don't know your individual situations, right? But what I do know is that usually, each married couple, one's more outgoing than the other one. Make sense? So my mom was super outgoing and social and had a lot of friends. My dad kept to himself and had no friends unless my mom gave the person as a friend. Does that make sense? Like my godfather, right? Now, so clearly going through my dad's, well, back then we didn't even have cell phones. It was like a black book and you go A and B and C, right? Now, but his would have been no help, right? But my mom's was a lot of help, right? Now, also, I want you to understand how you ask will determine how many numbers you get. Okay. If I knew nothing about Cutco and Hudson's going to work here, right? As soon as he turns 17, he's about to kill this job, right? My son. Hey, but if I didn't work here, right? And he said, hey, Dad, I got a new job and I get $20 for each appointment. Okay, can we go through? I need to see middle-aged married people. Okay, can we go through your phone? Or can you give me some people? Right? Well, I'd probably give him 10 or 15, maybe 20. Make sense? Okay, because he didn't explain it the right way, right? But if he said, hey, Dad, can we go through your phone A through Z, right? And identify who's a homeowner married and over 30, I get $20 for each appointment. And we went A through freaking Z. Hey, I have over 1,200 contacts in my phone, so you got to think that there's at least, because I do have some college kids in there, right? I would say at least 800 of them would be HM3s, right? Can you imagine how ridiculously awesome your life would be if you had 800 HM3s to start with, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm only going to do however many appointments each week, right? You're going to determine how many hours you want to work. So when you have that many, you're just going to call the ones that are going to buy the most. Does that make sense, right? I want you to understand in every single industry, you always want more clients. Make sense? Hey, so let's say you're a realtor. Okay, great. Maybe you have 100 people that either want to buy or sell a house, right? Well, you're only going to work X amount of hours. Hey, but would you want 100 or would you want 500? 500, right? And then you would just spend your time on who's wanting to buy or sell the most expensive houses because you're going to make a bigger profit on the sale. Does that make sense? Right? Now, I had over 100 HM3s when I came into training. Okay. I'm not saying it in like any other way besides I had over 100. Right. Now, for me, okay, the number one category was my mom. Right. So if you said, Mom, can you give me some people? And she gave you 10 or 15, I would go back and I would say, hey, Mom, I get $20 for every single appointment. They don't need to get anything. Hey, but I want to get as many HM3s as possible. Can we go through your phone A through Z? Does that make sense? Okay. So I'd write mom, beside mom, I'd write mom's cell phone. Okay. And then the next thing I'd write down is mom's Facebook. Now, again, if your mom's not a part of your life, right? Okay. Then maybe it's like your aunt or your best friend's mom or your girlfriend's mom, right? Like who's an HM3 woman that loves you? Does that make sense? Okay. But I would do both categories. I would do cell phone A through Z. That'll be your best one. But also Facebook, right? And y'all are like, Facebook, that's for old people. Like probably most of y'all don't even have one. Yeah, that's right. It is for old. That's the people you want to sell Cutco to, right? So if I bet your mom has more Facebook friends than she has contacts in her phone, right? Hey, and if you literally just put, and we have like a template and stuff for you in the manual that you can copy and paste. So it could be like my son, Jack, hey, got a job with Cutco. Hey, he's saving up money and building up his resume. Hey, he gets $20 for every appointment. You don't have to buy anything. And if you live in Orlando, he could do it face to face. If you're out of town, he could walk you through it remotely. If you'd be willing to help him out, let me know. And then you type it out on one, you copy it, paste it, blast, 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 DM all of them, right? Well, if she's got 500 friends on Facebook, I would find it hard to believe that 100 aren't like, oh, sure, sweet Jack can practice with me. Do you see what I'm saying here, right? We want to make sure that y'all are thinking smart, right? And working smart and not, I want you to also work hard, but I want you to work smart. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so what you want to do is get your hands on one source that has lots of contacts, right? So mom's cell phone, lots of contacts. Mom's Facebook, lots of contacts, right? The other things that were very helpful for me, church directory, right? So if you go to church, maybe write down church directory. If you don't go to, or temple or mosque, right? Whatever your belief system may be. Okay. But what I know, okay, is that we have a church directory. My mom was in the choir and I was the head acolyte. I literally wore the robe and carried the cross down and poured the wine at communion. There's no way you didn't know me, right? Okay. So there was so many married women in the church, right? And I don't think any of them you can come over and practice with me. Does that make sense? Right? So my point, that would be a big one. The other one I'd write down would be sports rosters, and I would list each individual sport. Okay. So cheerleading. Yes. Okay. The sports that I have found that buy the most Cutco, lacrosse, whatever the reason is, the lacrosse mom, man, they buy a lot of Cutco. Okay. Like they just, I don't know. They must talk about it at every practice, how much they love their knives. Okay. But lacrosse moms, hey, for me, it was soccer and baseball moms. They all bought a lot of stuff. Hey, cheerleading moms for sure. Hey, you know, it does, I guess that, either way. Okay. Oh, football, right? I mean, Jack, think about it. How many people were on the football team? Like 50? 150? Okay. Now, and this was your high school one? Right. Okay. Right. Do you think that all of the moms would know who you are? All right. What percent do you think would know who you are? Okay. All right. There you go. 10 or 15%. Okay. All right. Well, there would be at least 8 moms right there. Right. Oh, little Jack, or oh, big Jack, come on over. You can come practice with me. Right. And then when I see one of them, guess what? They have the rest of the mom's phone numbers. You see what I'm saying? Right. The other thing that I want y'all to realize is this. Now I get it, right? Brand new, right? Like my first appointment, mom and dad, right? And that was like probably best friend's mom, you know, like Mary, who is like my mom's best friend, like an aunt to me, right? Like just super close people that I'm really close to, right? But I just want you to realize that as you get more comfortable, right? How well do you really need to know someone to say, I get paid $20, can I practice with you? You see what I'm saying? Right? I saw all of the people from my mom's work. I would write down parents, coworkers, By the way, a lot of y'all had like, or not a lot of you, but like at least like 5 of you, your mom is like a nurse or something. Hey, well, guess what? See, also, we're going to teach you networking skills. Okay. All right. If you listen to what I teach you, hey, there's a 0% chance you will ever run out of people. I had over 3,000 HM3s, awesome HM3s in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I'm from. Hey, do you know how much fun it was when I was making phone calls to say, all right, well, if someone didn't answer, who cares? I have 2,999 other ladies, right? And let me focus on all the ones in Cary because they bought a lot, right? It was like a nice little area right outside of Raleigh. All of those ladies bought homemakers and above. It was crazy. I would happily drive that 45 minutes. Now, but anyways, always think about like when I'm doing an appointment, what doors can they open? Okay. But either way, so we wrote down parents, coworkers, right? We wrote down mom's cell phone A through Z, mom's Facebook. Okay. We said what? Church people, temple or mosque. Sports, right? Sports. Just think about whatever clubs y'all are in and organizations as well. I write that down. Like clubs. I was a Boy Scout, right? So I saw a lot of the troop leaders, right? A lot of the moms would buy Cutco for themselves, and I said, "Hey, wouldn't your son like an awesome pocket knife with like he could get his name engraved on it, or Troop 314 or whatever?" Right? Those people were great, right? What kind of clubs and organizations were you a part of? Okay. All right. Who else came up with other categories that help you get a lot of numbers? Okay. All right. So if you ever did community service, people you did that with, what else? Oh, by the way, all of your friends' moms. Now, we'll teach you that one later. Don't spend your time tonight calling all your friends and say, hey, I got a new job. Can I practice with your mom? What's her number? Okay. It's just a lot of time to get one number. It's not really worth it. Okay. We'll teach you later how you can just do on this app and you click a button, okay, and it'll just send a text for you. Does that make sense? Okay. There's this app that's super smart. I'm not the tech guy, but it makes your lives a whole lot easier. I know that. Hey, now, all right. What other categories? Oh, high school teachers. Okay. That was like, so for me, okay, so here, let me back it up a little bit further. Okay. So when my dad retired from the military, my mom worked at Raleigh Parks and Recreation. Okay. Jobs in North Carolina pay less, cost of living less. My mom made about 40 grand a year. My dad retired from the military and was making like 50 grand a year, right? Our house was like $150,000 house, which would put us on a very not good side of town here, right? All I'm saying is I didn't grow up wealthy. They're not. Does that make sense? Okay. So therefore, typically birds of a feather flock together, right? So for me, I didn't have any stay-at-home moms to start with, and it really hurt me in my fast start because I wanted to do appointments between 9 and 5, but I didn't have any moms that were home. Make sense? So I literally just showed up at my high school and talked to my teacher, Miss Garris, who was my math teacher. And I got an appointment set up with her. Obviously, she was home during the daytime. It was summer. Then she gave me her sister, Sandy Todd. I still remember her name because she was my first stay-at-home wife, right? And she bought like $800, something like that. But she gave me all the housewives, right? Hey, so if you're a stay-at-home mom, guess what? Your circle are stay-at-home moms, right? You want to get into the stay-at-home mom circle, right? Because you can do them whenever. You can do them daytime, evening, weekend, whatever, right? But either way, high school teachers were good. Okay. All right. What other groups? Oh, neighbors. Everybody write down neighbors. Okay. Geez Louise. Okay. Neighbors. I definitely saw my neighbor beside me and the neighbor across the street at the top of the cul-de-sac. Hey, Sandy and Jack. Hey, so neighbors, right? All I'm getting at is that right now, it's like, oh, mommy and grandma, right? All I'm saying is that all of my mom's coworkers, when I called them up, I'm like, hey, this is Trey Harris. I'm Jan Harris's son. Every one of their responses, oh, hey, baby, how are you? And I might have met them twice. It didn't matter. They're friends with my mom. You see what I'm saying? Right? So you want to think outside the box. Okay. You want to be on a mission to get more names and numbers so that you can be more selective on who you choose to spend your time with. Okay. So would you like, I'll fast forward to future for you, right? There'll be at least one person, hey, that maybe came in here with 10 numbers, right? They've convinced themselves that there's only 10 women on the face of this planet that know of them or their family. Okay. Now, and if they don't look up more numbers, right, they're going to be the desperate kid when it's time to make calls. Please, anyone answer, please. I just want to get booked up. Are you with me? Okay. And then there'll be the top kids are going to come in tomorrow. they'll at least have 30 numbers, hopefully 50 or to 100 plus, right? And they're gonna be like, I'm gonna call that lady. I think that she would get the most, right? Well, then now you're getting to be selective on who you spend your time with. You do a demo for them, they're gonna give you killer recommendations, right? And you're gonna get into great circles quick, fast, and in a hurry. Does that make sense? Right? Now, so all I want is I want you to have so many people that you get to pick and choose who you choose to spend your time with, not be the desperate kid like someone please answer the phone. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay. Now, the other thing I want you to understand that I don't think your generation really does get a lot. Hey, it is very normal. Hey, to do if someone was opening up a business, hey, almost all the time they start off with family and friends, right? So let's just say that you opened up a restaurant, right? Well, there's this thing called a grand opening. That's going to be the very first time that we get we're open and we're in business, right? Who do you invite to the grand opening? All of your family and friends, right? So they come, they eat the food, they pay for the food, and hopefully they like it enough to spread the word. Does that make sense? Right? If your dad's a dentist, right, and your family lives in the same city and they don't go to him to clean their teeth, then there's something wrong. That's weird. Does that make sense? Right? Hey, if your uncle's a roofer, right, and you have a leak in the roof and your dad didn't call him, then that would be weird. Does that make sense? Right? One of my best friends, my neighbor John, hey, well, he owns a pool cleaning company, right? So guess who cleans my pool? John, right? Wouldn't it be weird if I was like, hey, best friend, I'm not gonna have you be my pool guy when you live across the street from me, right? It would just be weird, right? So all I'm getting at, hey, is I also want you to kind of shift perspective here too. Hey, a lot of these people may never hear about Cutco unless you do reach out to them, right? Because we don't do commercials and we don't sell them in stores, right? Hey, you'll get to the point where you will evolve, hey, to where I want everyone to buy Cutco from me, even if I didn't make 1 penny, because I know how much it's going to benefit them, right? But I've also been doing it 24 years and I see them and I get it. You see what I'm saying? So either way, you want to see every single person, hey, that you know. Okay, and get to them first, because if not, someone else will get to them. Does that make sense? Right? So you want to get to them before the other people. So my number one tip for y'all, like the most important thing that you can do tonight, right? Look up more numbers so you can be selective and choosy, okay, on who you choose to spend your time with. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Number 2, call them. So number 1, if you want to rock this job, get a lot of names and numbers. Okay. Number 2, call them. Okay. Hopefully you haven't started calling people yet because you didn't know how to. Okay. So we'll teach you how to do it today. Okay. We'll make the calls. Hey, everyone that answers will say yes. Hey, what I will tell you is that every 3 calls that you make, 1 person answers and that person says yes. So you'll need to make 15 calls to book 5. That'll be the average for 80 to 90% of you, right? There'll be 1 of you that has to make 4 calls to get 1 to answer. Hey, we'll give you a big round of applause because you're the one that took 1 for the team. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, but every single person will tell you yes. Hey, and then read, smile, cut, call. Okay. That's it. Look up numbers. Hey, call them. Hey, and then do the appointment. Read, smile, cut, call Haley. Okay. Now, what we're really doing is just putting the product in front of as many married ladies as possible. Hey, and cut up food. They like it. Give them a good deal. Now, why do you think we focus on HM3s? That's right. Okay. Now, so I guess also let's go ahead and write down HM3s. Don't worry about the screen. I'll just cut it off. Okay. All right. So HM3s, homeowner, and then below that, married, over 30. Now I know that we already went over this in the interview, but let's just use common sense here, right? So we're selling high quality kitchen products. Okay. So why would we want to see people who live in a house versus people who rent an apartment? You tell me. They're financially stable, right? So they could get whatever they want. If they own a house, they can get whatever set that they want, right? We also spend money on our house, a lot of money on our house. It's the thing that we spend the most money on because it's the most expensive thing that we own. So we want it to be really nice, right? The number 1 room that people spend money on is their kitchen, right? So we want to see homeowners because they're financially stable. They can get whatever they want. Now, I get 50% of marriages end in divorce. I get it, right? I want you focusing on the 50% that are married, okay, for at least your first weekend, okay? Now, would I see a divorced lady if she had kids at home, cooks, and has a good job? Absolutely, right? But I just want you to wait till after advanced training on Monday. Okay, so I can triple your knowledge before you take a 3-point shot. We just want to make easy layups first weekend. Okay. Now, homeowners financially stable. Why do we want to see married people over single or divorced people? Yep, they're more financially stable. What else happens usually if they're married? Okay, which means they're more likely to cook, right? So what I found is that when the last kid moves out, the moms decrease their cooking dramatically. Okay, so your perfect age group would be 40, 50 years old, right? Because if they still have kids at home, right? Once that last kid moves out, they do less cooking. Does that make sense? Okay. So homeowner, married, and then why do we not want to see a 25-year-old? Why do we want to see 30 and above? Right. Okay. Once you've been in your industry for a decade, right? I mean, you should be doing pretty well financially there, right? And if I'm 25, I'm still probably paying off student loans, right? If I do own a home, I just got it and I probably scraped and clawed everything I had to get it, right? Okay. So when you're seeing 30-year-olds, hey, they probably have kids at home, they're financially stable. Okay. So HM3s are your A+ customers. Okay. And just keep in mind, like I'm going to break down for y'all later, like a week or two from now, what you're actually worth per hour here. Okay. But just think about this. If I'm going to do 10 appointments, well, I want to do the best 10, right? So I can hurry up and get multiple pay raises, get into great circles and start running with it. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so either way, okay, HM3s. Now, oh, did you see that slide again? What does that one say? Hey, oh, everybody look up here. You want to know something funny? Everybody say what, Trey? All together at the same time, just to make me happy. Okay, do y'all want to know something? Thanks, made me happy. Okay. Oh, there's this kid 2 weeks ago. I wonder if he's friends with one of y'all. Okay. Notice I said he. It's always a freaking guy. Okay. Women, y'all are wonderful. Hey, you do everything right, and you are so wonderful. Okay. There will be one guy, a male, in this room. Okay. Well, at least there wasn't last week, but 2 weeks ago, okay, the kid did the demo, okay, and the lady liked Cutco, right? The only reason that anyone wouldn't buy is because of money, right? Like, just understand it. They all like it. They all want it, right? Okay. And he didn't even call to find the family friend discount. Like, can you imagine spending 45 minutes with a lady? She's like, I really like your products. I really want your products, but it's a little out of my budget. And you don't say, oh, well, let me call my manager and find out the discounts, right? So how much do you think that kid sold on his appointment? Nothing, not even a cutting board, nothing, right? Now, that's fine. Then he talked to Haley and then she got him on the program. He ended up doing really well and he's kicking butt. Okay. But I'm trying to help you avoid that first one. Does that make sense? So just call it the end of your appointments, especially guys. Make sure y'all call. Now, all right, your first 10 days, you want to work harder than you normally would. Okay. You're very highly incentivized, okay, with free product, okay, and promotions and the opportunity to win the trip. Okay. Now, what you want to do, your objective, okay, and even if you're like 17-year-old guy, you don't cook and you still have another year of high school or something, right? Okay. Eventually you're going to be an HM3. Okay. You're going to want Cutco in your house. Guarantee. Of course you are. So you can win it from me for free. Okay. Or you can buy it from the college kid that calls you up in the future. Make sense? Okay. Now, also, the more you have to show, the more you're going to sell, right? So is it Gage? All right, cool. By the way, I remembered it. Your handle's blocking it. Now, all right. Gage has got at least 8 friends that work here. Okay. And they're all killing it. Well, Jake Edwards isn't really killing it right now, but I'm trying to help this kid. He's, it's like, right. He's only done 10 appointments in his whole life. Okay. Anyways. But Gage has got friends that have already made over $3,000, right? Approaching $4,000. A lot of his friends already made over $2,000 their first month on the job. Does that make sense? Hey, so he's probably got the highest confidence in the room, hey, because all of his buddies are killing it. Okay. Now, nope. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep working on it. Okay. Now, where was I going with? But when y'all win all of the Cutco, right? So after your 10 days are, your first 10 days are up, which it ends whenever you go to bed next Monday, not this Monday. We'll go over that later. Don't worry about it. Okay. But then I'll order all of your Cutco, right? And then you'll get it shipped to your house, right? You'll probably take a picture and text me about how fired up you are. Go grab Haley. She's in that room. Now, oh, but their average order goes up automatically right when they get it all. It's not that they magically just got better, they had all the products to show, right? So it's a lot easier when you have all the products to show. So you want to work hard. I think it's like $1,600 or $1,800 worth of free Cutco. That door right there. Yeah, just knock and then walk in. Now, all right, I would take a picture of this one. And it's all already been all of that was already explained in the interview. You may have taken a picture of it from the interview. Okay, but everyone starts off at 10%. I started at 10%. Everybody starts at 10%, right? Once you sold $1,000, you got your first pay raise. The vast majority of you will get your first pay raise your first weekend. Okay, there'll be a lot of you that get your first pay raise on your very first appointment. Okay, now once you're at 3K, you got your second pay raise. Now you're at 20%. I just want to be completely transparent with you. 10 and 15% I call poverty level. You might even write that. 10 and 15% is poverty level. Once you're at 20%, hey, which a lot of you will get to your first weekend. Okay. Y'all help her out. She needs a chair, right? All right. You want to stand? All right. So, all right. So help her out. And then why don't you go ahead and start filling out your welcome sheet? Just follow, go find Haley. Haley's the one you want to talk to. Okay. Now, but when you're at 20%, a lot of you will be over 20% your first weekend. Okay. Excuse me. Now, if our office has a $400 average order, when you're at 20%, you're making $80 to talk to someone for an hour. Is that awesome? That's amazing. Or to sip lemonade and sit in an air-conditioned home and cut stuff and they feed you. Okay. Now, but anyways, some of you will get to dirty 30 your first 10 days. Okay. So I'd write 30%, we call dirty 30. Yeah, right there. Okay, dirty 30. Hey, Charlize. Oh, no. Nice to meet you. All right. Start filling that out and then we'll actually no, don't even fill that out. We'll just pay attention to the last little bit. Now, but when you're at 30%, you're at dirty 30. Okay. And I mean, even on a $400 order, you just made $120 in an hour. It's $2 a minute, right? Now, and then we have bonuses higher than that as well. All right. You don't need to write this. I'm just giving you an example. The first one's irrelevant because probably none of you are in school anymore. Okay. So I'm just going to skip that example. So let's talk about a summer schedule, right? If you want to do just part-time, right, and you'll get to determine this and we'll sit down with you one-on-one and like plan your schedules. But I would recommend that you work here. Let me give you like give me the eyeballs here. Don't worry about that. You want to work your butt off as much as you can your first 10 days. Okay. Now, without neglecting other responsibilities, I'm not saying to not do date night with your significant other or skip church or any of that, right? But you want to work as hard as your schedule allows your first 10 days. Then you can just put that thing in cruise control. Hey, and you're making 20, 25, 30%, right? You do 10 appointments, you'll sell $2,000, and you're talking about making $600 a week with the part-time schedule. Now, it does not matter to me how you do it, but the part-time would be 10 appointments. Okay. Now, so whether someone does 2 a day, do one at 9 and 10:30, be done at noon, right? Or you do work hard on Monday and Tuesday, do 5 each day, right? The most I ever did was 8 demos in one day, right? I think I had 9 scheduled, one canceled or rescheduled on me, right? Completed 8, right? But I don't care how you do it, but look at all that chill time, right? So what if you just look at all that beach time? Mercedes, you see all that beach time? Okay. And for you, yeah, you may just want to stack those up here, right? And you could just go to the beach and get a hotel every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? Now, but you're still getting your goals, right? So either way, if you want, you could just write down part-time would be 10 appointments. Now, by the way, I have some kids that just do 5, right? Like that's all that they want to do. So, I mean, whatever, as long as you're getting what you want from the job, right? But I would say part-time would be 10 appointments, full-time would be 20 plus. Can you do more? Absolutely. Do I have kids that do more? Absolutely. Now, and then also, look, on a normal, regular basis, all you have, hey, as we do our PSP meeting at 5 o'clock, it's really only 15 minutes. And then you meet with the manager one-on-one and plan out your schedule. And we'll go over that in a minute. It stands for paycheck schedule phone. Our team meetings are Wednesday night. That's it. You only need to be here twice. Now, you don't necessarily need to write this one down, okay? But really, actually, I'd write down every 5 appointments should equal $1,000 in sales. Now, by the way, that's like an average, so the top people will be a lot higher than that. But on average, if I did 5 appointments, I should at least make 4 sales, and I would be over $1,000 for sure, even if I only had a $300 average order. Okay, now we dominate, right? So I want you to get this. Every company has a peak season, right? So if you're a realtor, or not a realtor, if you're in retail, right? Then it's obviously November, December, right? Your peak seasons, right? Okay, if you are an accountant, right? March and April, right? For us, Cutco, why do you think that we sell so much? So June is our second biggest month of the year, and July is our biggest month of the year. Of the whole year. Okay, yes, a bunch of cooking holidays, right? A bunch. Okay, yes, we'll go there too. Okay. All right, which means who else is home? The moms, right? Okay. So we've already hit on at least 3. So the 4th of July, right? Smoking out that big brisket. Okay. So you got your grilling out and cooking out, right? Okay. 4th of July, we just had the Memorial Day, right? There's a ton of holidays, right? I think people are just in much better moods in the summer, right? The kids are home, right? So a lot of times then the moms are home, right? So it's easier to get appointments, right? Hey, for sure, right? Just know that I guess if I could tell you the perfect training class probably would have been like 4 weeks ago, right? Because you'd have been like the first one of the summer, right? But if you're in high school, this is the perfect time for you because you just got out of high school, right? Hey, and if you're in college, I don't know why you didn't call me about a month ago. Okay, maybe you didn't get the letter yet. Okay, now, but just know that now is the perfect time to sell Cutco. All right. Last week, our company, not our office, that would be amazing if that was our office, but as a company, we sold $4,696,949 worth of Cutco. What does that tell you? Yeah, we saw a lot of knives. Follow the program. Okay. All right. Okay, what to expect? Okay, now don't write this down, but what you can expect from us is 100% commitment to you. Okay, like we are going to bust our butts to help you succeed. Okay, you may have a late appointment. Let's say you did one at like 9 o'clock, right? Friday night, let's just say, right? And let's just say the lady's drinking wine. Okay, they get a little chattier, they talk a little bit more, but they buy a lot more. Okay, they buy so much. I really thought about bringing like wine on appointments. Okay, I think it would have helped, but I wasn't old enough. I was 17. Now, but anyways, okay. Oh, well, all I was saying is that if your appointment got out super late, like 10:30 at night, guess what? Call Haley. She's going to answer the phone and she's going to help you make your sale. Make sense? Okay. So she's going to bust her butt to help you. Okay. We're going to be super available to you, and we're going to provide impeccable coaching for you. Okay. What else can you expect? Open communication. Okay. If you haven't figured it out yet, I might be the most blunt, transparent person that you ever meet. Okay. Now that's good and bad, right? But you'll never have to ask, how do I feel? Right. I just want you to know, okay, the open communication works both ways, right? So I would probably write down for you, hey, like be open, just open communication with Haley and the management staff. Because we're not mind readers. You see what I'm saying? Okay. But what I can tell you is that when you're open and vulnerable, and guys hate the word vulnerability, right? Okay. But when you're open and vulnerable with us, right, we can help coach you through whatever. Does that make sense? Hey, I'm not going to say any names, but I have one guy on my team. Hey, him and his parents just have not been getting along for multiple years. Okay. And he just moved out of their house yesterday. Right. It was kind of tough, right? Going through some stuff. Right. Hey, but he can at least talk to me and I can give him some guidance and stuff along the way. Right. And I know his situation. Hey, So I know that he probably wasn't trying to do a lot of appointments yesterday. Does that make sense? Right? Now, but what I'm getting at is this, okay? Like when you're frustrated, right? Which you're going to be frustrated. Again, you're either in a storm, you just exit, or you're going to enter one, right? Okay. So like the most frustrated I ever was in Cutco. Literally, my whole life is on Cutco. Hey, I finally got into this like loaded house. I'm talking like $1 million+ home, right? Hey, and these ladies, you'll realize, are the hardest to get in touch with. Okay. Now, anyways, I thought I was going to sell like 5 or 10 grand on this appointment, right? I am fired up. We're talking like a marble staircase and stuff. I'm like, right? Who does that? Right? Okay. The lady bought a freaking ice cream scoop. Are you with me? Okay. I was so pissed. You have no idea how pissed I was. So at that point, it was in the year 2000. So we had a cell phone. I remember calling Larry and he let me vent. And I'm sure I said words that were not PG-13. Okay. I was like, "Rah." But it's good to vent, get it out. Right. And he let me vent. All right. There's a lot of venting. Okay. I was just so pissed. Gosh. Anyways, but I vented. And then he said, well, what did she say? Right. I was like, she said she literally never cooked. Like literally the lady goes out to eat every night. And I know that she actually did. She would have no problem spending $1,000 a week on food. Does that make sense? So anyways, then he gave me a ton of tips if I was ever in that situation again, and how to hit on, you know, how it would be great holiday gifts, right? Do you have any weddings coming up, right? Okay, like gave me a ton of tips where I probably could have, like she would probably give away this set as a gift to people, right? Okay, I could have probably sold 10 of those to her if I'd thought about it. Does that make sense? But there's only going to be so many situations and scenarios. Just talk to us, be open with us, and we can help coach you through it. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so open communication. Oh, and back to that real quick. Okay. And I just want y'all to kind of get it. It'll make sense when I say it out loud. But when you're kicking butt, you always want to call, right? If you sold 2 or 3 grand on your appointment, right, you are fired up, right? So of course you want to call and brag, Haley, I just sold this, blah, 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 because you want the pound on the back, the attaboy, attagirl, right? We don't really need to talk to you when you're fired up. We need to talk to you when you're pissed, right? Hey, when the lady you thought was going to buy a bunch bought a cutting board or an ice cream scoop, right? Hey, or you had to reschedule and you were mad or frustrated, right? But when you talk to us, guess what? I can ask you a few questions, identify exactly what caused it, how to pinpoint, and how to avoid it in the future. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so just talk to us, especially when you're not happy, right? Now, go ahead and write these 3 things down. Okay. These are the only 3 things, okay, that are, you know, expected of you, besides like, you know, being on time and have a positive attitude. So like we, you know, as a review from the interview, right? We have 2 meetings a week. Okay. We have PSP meetings on Sunday to start the week. Now you don't have one this Sunday because you had to be here so much for the training today and tomorrow. Now, but on a normal weekly basis, PSP on Sunday. Okay. It's at 5 o'clock. Okay. So I'd write down what the PSP stands for: paycheck, schedule, phone. Paycheck, schedule, phone. Paycheck, schedule, phone. So on Sunday, you meet with them. It'll be like a 15-minute meeting. Okay. And then all the managers are in and they'll pull you one at a time. Hey, meet with you, make sure that all of your records match our records so we know how much to pay you. Okay. For everything that you've done for the week. Right. The S is probably the most important part for you. It's where we plan out your schedules with you. Right. So I have kids that like Tyler today. Well, I knew that he had practice this morning. Hey, and was going to be doing it until, you know, whatever, 9:30 or something, right? Or I'll have people that are like Jake Buchanan, right? He's literally going to go to Israel for 6 weeks, right? Okay, cool. Well, he's just going to work hard until then, right? And then when he comes back, he'll pick up where he left off, right? Just the S would be like, like you get to plan out your schedule with us, right? Okay, and we'll help you when you're brand new, right? But eventually it's just going to be like, here, Haley, here's what I want to do for the week. Make sense? Okay. And that's how you get good at time management. You don't get good at time management when someone else plans your time for you. Hey, when you make your own hours, that's how you get better at time management. Right. But either way, and then the other P is phone. So paycheck, schedule, phone. So everybody comes in 5 o'clock, there's a 15-minute meeting, 5 to 5:15. You meet with the manager. Okay, while you're waiting to meet with them, you make phone calls, book up your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Then Wednesday are our team meetings. It's only 30 minutes, 6 to 6:30, and then everybody jumps on the phone, hey, and books up their Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You see how it's just forced accountability? Sunday get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? Pretty simple. Now, by the way, if anyone has anything specific that would interfere with one of those, then just talk to Haley, right? Maybe some of you do a youth group on Wednesday night, right? Cool. I've worked with a ton of kids that had that, right? Now, so Wednesday team meeting, okay, and then the coaching calls sometime before 10 a.m. You just need to call the management line and check in with us. Okay. Now it's literally like a 2-minute phone call, right? Hey Trey, yeah, it's Riley. Hey, what's up, Riley? How are you? Right. And then I'm gonna basically look at his results from yesterday, identify one tip to help him improve. Hey, and then we're gonna role play it if we have time. Hey, and if I have time and if he has time. Hey, and he's gonna implement and it's gonna work. Right. So Brooke, one of my assistant managers, she was just in like a slump. It was like 3 appointments in a row that bought like less than $150, right? It's not normal, right? And then guess what? I role played with her. I fixed stuff. At her very next appointment, she sold like 1,400. Hey, and then the very next appointment after that, she sold it was like 615 or something, right? On the next 2 appointments, she sold $2,000, right? She made $600 on her next 2 appointments, right? I'm just telling you that Haley and I can fix whatever, right? But that's why if you talked to me or Haley each morning and got a tip and implemented it, do you know how good you're going to be within even a 3-week period, right? So either way, it's all about how do I keep getting better and keep improving. All right, keys to success. Let's see if I even need you to write any of this. All right, positive attitude. Okay, help each other out throughout training. Be responsible. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Make the most out of training. We're only going to be here, 2 days, right? Hey, and I just want y'all to get anytime that I'm talking with you or I'm running a meeting, I'm bringing my 100% A game. Hey, Haley will be bringing her 100% A game. Hey, and both of us are national champions. Like, so just be in it. Okay, absorb. Let's go. All right, I want y'all to make a lot of money. Okay, by the way, my top people have zero, they are not financially motivated. Hey, a lot of them are not, right? Okay, the main reason they're here is because they want the communication skills and the resume. That will help you make more money long-term forever, right? But at the end of the day, I do want you to make a lot of money. Okay, I want you to gain a lot of experience here that I know that you won't gain in other places. Okay. The big thing for me, okay, and I just want you to write down 5-star recruit. So yes, I want you to gain the communication skills. Yes, I want to get you to gain the resume and the experience. At the end of the day, all of that is for what? So that you're a 5-star recruit. So yeah, I want you to learn a lot. I want to make a lot of money. I want you to be the leader of your group, which you probably already are. Okay. But the most important one for me is that you're a 5-star recruit. So if you're a 5-star athlete, right, when you graduate high school, all the colleges are like, come here, come play for me. I'll give you free tuition. I'll pay for your meal plan. I'll give you free housing. Come here, right? And that's great for 4 years, right? Okay, but I want you to be a 5-star recruit when you graduate college, where all the companies are like, come work for me. I'll pay you this. I'll pay you that, right? And then I'll help even coach you through the process and teach you how to have them play off of each other to get the highest salary, right? And I'm going to be the one that you put on your resumes. You do understand that, right? Okay, and I will close them, right? And then also, just for the record, right? Every single person that I've worked with in my whole entire life that did Cutco through college got the job when they graduated. I'm telling you 100%, batting 1,000. Okay. So, anyways, I want y'all to be a 5-star recruit. All right. We got Company of the Year award, number 12 company to work for above Microsoft and Delta, right? A ton of successful people, that own their own businesses, started off with Cutco. Y'all already wrote Cutco through college, right? Okay. Now, all right, 5-star recruit. Okay. We talked about that. I would write this down. I said it earlier, but I didn't have you write it because I knew I'd get to it now. But TLA is the Leadership Academy. It's basically a free course on success. Okay, I'm literally gonna take part of it and I'm gonna start teaching it at my church. Hey, for free. Hey, now, but TLA lessons, okay, I want to teach you how to manage yourself. And I can like deep dive like 10x on where you think. Okay, but if you have to be able to manage yourself, you can't manage yourself, you can't manage others, right? Hey, then number two is how to manage other people. By the way, maybe you don't want to be a branch manager or a district manager. Cool, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that none of you want to be the lowest person on the totem pole in your future careers, right? So if you're even two in charge, you're managing somebody, right? So you got to learn how to manage others. Oh, and it's the same thing with kids. You think the kids just magically eat their green beans and stuff, right? So, and do the right things, right? Like, either way, okay. I was going to give you a bunch of examples with my son, okay. But either way, manage others, manage a business. Hey, maybe you don't want to be a business owner one day. That's fine. Guess what? Your house is a business. You have X amount of dollars coming in. You have X amount of dollars going out, right? Okay? And then hopefully you got a certain amount going towards your future endeavors, like saving and withholdings and retirement and whatever, right? So, but manage a business and then how to manage your money, okay? I'm really good at that, okay? Now, all right, so a quick review, then we're going to talk about the fast start, okay? And then I'll be done with my opening comments. Oh, even a little bit early. All right, so first off, the word average. I just can't emphasize the word average enough. There's a 0% chance I would take 1 second out of my day to teach you to be average, right? So an average kid at an average office going through an average training would have an average order of $300, okay? Our office average is 400. That may not seem like a big difference, but it is. Okay, 300 times 1.33, okay, would be 400. That means that we are 30 my kids make 33% more than the other kids in the nation right off the bat before we include a sales ratio, right? So I just want you to write down your average order will be around $400. Okay. Now, just $400. Do y'all feel like $400 is a lot of money or a little bit of money? What do y'all think? I think it just depends on who we're talking to, right? If I'm talking to a poor, broke, hungry, starving, ramen noodle eating college kid, right? $400 is so much, right? Okay, but when you're talking to an adult, right? $400. So I got this like ridiculously awesome outdoor patio furniture. Okay, it is literally the Cutco of furniture. When anything messes up, they'll fix it for free. Are you with me? So it was 10 grand for the full set with the outside area here and then the little table with the chairs that go around it, right? It's expensive for outdoor furniture, but it's the best one, right? And I bought the like $1,000 little ones and then they fall apart and get junk everywhere. Either way, whenever you want to get like good outdoor furniture, okay, Palm Casual, that's a place. That place is killer, okay? Now, but anyways, okay, my freaking little nut dogs, right? So I like labs, okay? I like dog, okay? Well, my wife got tired when we moved to Florida, 11, 12 years ago, got tired of all the shedding, right? So now we have golden doodles, okay? Now, I call them my little foo-foo dogs, okay? Now, I do like them. They are good dogs. Okay? I did like my labs a little bit better, truth be told, a lot bit better, okay? But here nor there, it's not about what dogs I like. But these little nut foo-foo dogs, okay, chewed up on my expensive outdoor patio furniture. I have 4 pieces, 4 chairs, right? Where they ruined the arm, right? Each chair was like $350 for outside furniture one, right? And then it came unraveled here because they were chewing it by my leg. Oh, I was remembering that. Call them up. They're like, all right, cool. We'll pick it up. They're like, I don't think I can make it perfect, right? It's not going to be great, but $50, we'll pick them up. We'll fix it for free and we'll deliver it back. It's basically to pick it up and deliver it, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll pay 50 because they'll probably come back not to what I want. Hey, but I'll be able to have it fixed for free, right? And then they're like, yeah, it's normally $350 because you already bought them before. It'll only be like $115 each chair, right? The point is, hey, so I'm gonna have them fix it for 50 just so I have extra ones when we're entertaining, and I'm gonna pay 115 and get new ones for each of the new ones, right? But anyway, the point is, it's gonna cost me $500 to get these chairs fixed that my dog messed up. Does that make sense? Okay. my point is, it's not like we're not gonna eat food or have the lifestyle that we want because of fix the chairs. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the other thing I want you to get, and we'll talk about money like tomorrow. Okay. But if your customer takes their $400 order, right, they can literally split it over 5 months interest free. Right. So what does that come to? $80 a month, which would break down to $20 a week. Right. And if it's a husband and wife, that's literally $10 they set aside. Let me put $10 in a jar each week to have my average order of a Cutco. You even spend that on Chipotle. You spend more than that on your Uber Eats because you didn't want to drive there. Does that make sense? And we're adults, right? With like adult income. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now, Haley will talk about that later. All I want you to know, a $400 order is not a big deal. That's going to be your average order, right? Now, you may have some lady only buy $20, right? Okay. And then you may have a lady buy $1,000 or $2,000, right? It just depends on their cooking like needs, right? And then their financial situation. Hey, but even $1,000 order split over 5 months is $200 a month. Hey, that's $50 a week. 25 for the husband, 25 for the wife. You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't need to be wealthy to buy Cutco. I do want you to understand that. Now, do I want to network and get into wealthier areas, hey, where I have a higher probability of selling a bigger set, like all day sell a big set? Absolutely, you do. Okay, right? But I'm just telling you that I would bet for 99.9% of you, I started off in lower income areas, and all of them can at least get this set all day. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, but here nor there, I would just write down your average order will be $400. Okay. Now, an average kid in an average office going through an average training, hey, we'll have an average sales ratio of 60%. Don't write that. Your average order will be 80%. Now, let me emphasize this for a second. So that means that 4 out of 5 people will get something. Now, it should be 10 out of 10. Okay. At least while we're starting off, right? We're seeing family and friends. Okay. If you spent an hour and you cared and you shared your goals, they will at least get a cutting board. Does that make sense? Okay. Just to help you, right? So let's talk about that. Now, by the way, are they going to spend $400 on you because they like you? Definitely not. Okay. But it's been $20, right? Now, all right. Did any of you ever do fundraisers? Okay. All right. What are some of the things that y'all sold? All right, the chocolate bars. All right, what were they, like $1 or $2? $1? All right. So, well, when you went around the neighborhood or wherever you were, standing outside of Publix or whatever, right? Okay, did that customer want the chocolate bar? Probably not. We don't need that in our lives. You'll understand once you hit 40. After 30, your metabolism is going to slow down a lot. 40, it's awful. I can literally eat a piece of that Snickers cake and literally gain 1.5 pounds. It's really not fair. Life's not fair, right? Anyways, we didn't want the chocolate bar. We didn't need the chocolate bar. And if we wanted it, we would have just got it at the store. Does that make sense? Okay. But we bought it from you because we wanted to help you, right? And I would suppose that most people bought more than one chocolate bar, like here's a whole $1. Does that make sense? Now, did y'all ever do, raise your hand if you ever did the coupon books? Okay. Right. So those things are at least like probably $20, right? And there's places that I don't even use, right? I don't know if I've ever used a coupon from the coupon book, right? But when the kid shows up at my door, right? Oh, will you help support my school, right? Blah blah blah. I'll get we get this coupon book. All right, sure. Okay, here's $20, right? Now, just to help them. Hey, what I'm getting at is $20 is pretty much like, I don't know you. I've seen you for 1 second. Okay, here's $20. I'll help your cause. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? Now, but the other thing I want you to get is no one cares about helping the lazy kid. Right? So, have y'all all been outside of Publix and seen the lazy Girl Scout set up where they don't even talk to anyone? Right? Like, they're literally set up. You walk right beside them and they don't even say, hey, mister, would you like to get some cookies and help my troop? Right? So I buy nothing from them. Nothing. I don't want the cookies anyways. Right? But put in perspective, I got these 2 rock star Girl Scouts that rock my neighborhood. Okay. They sit outside in the hot Florida sun on the curb right in front of the park in our neighborhood. And they made handheld stop signs. And it says, stop for cookies. And when they see any car, they jump up. They're like, stop for cookies, stop for cookies. if you don't buy cookies from those girls, you're a bad human. Does that make sense? Okay. They are trying, they are working, right? So I always buy $20. It's kind of like my number, $20 to help the kid I don't know. Make sense? Now, I'm gonna give you one last example though. My buddy Scott, hey, his daughter Lucy, hey, and they live in Texas, hey, and she sent me this email. He clearly typed it, hey, but it was like, "Hi, Mr. Harris, this is Lucy." Right? My goal, she shared her goals. He's in sales too. Right? She shared her goals. My goal is to be the #1 selling Girl Scout person in all of Texas. Right? My goal is to sell, I don't even remember what it was. Like, I don't know, $5,000 worth of cookies, right? Whatever. And then she even name dropped. She's like, so whatever you can, if you be interested in helping me, my dad said he'll even pay to ship it from Texas to, Florida to your house, right? And then she even threw in a name drop. By the way, your friend Jeff, okay, bought 20 boxes. Sorry, it was about 21. Does that make sense? Okay, just had to one up Jeff, right? Now, so that was probably like $120 worth of cookies that I don't even want in my house, right? So I just bring them to y'all and y'all eat them at the phone jams or whatever. Make sense? But my point, because why did I buy $120 worth of stuff from her, but only 20 from the other person? Exactly, right? Because I know her dad and I know her, so I clearly want to help her towards her goals more than the random stranger that's standing outside of Publix. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? Okay. So all I'm getting at is that if you spent an hour in my home doing an appointment with my wife, and we know you and you like are trying and you care, and it's a product that we actually like and want, she would buy a ton of stuff from you. Does that make sense? Okay. So all I'm getting at is that you really shouldn't have a no sell, at least for your first like week or so, right? By the way, I sold 8 out of 10 as a sales rep. Okay. But I'm sure that everyone my first week or so got something. Does that make sense? Even if it was just a cutting board. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so I just don't want to lower your thinking to think that you should only sell 6 or 8 out of 10. I'm just telling you that a lot of you will go 100%. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay. Now, but what were the two things? Maybe beside that closing ratio of 80%, write the two things down. Hey, shared goals and cared. When you share your goals and you care, right, they're going to get stuff. And I'm going to have you all make a goals page tonight. It'll take you less than 5 minutes. So share goals and care. All right. And then the last average would be recommendations. You'll get anywhere from 5 to 10 per appointment. Okay. So I do want you to know that. But I did average 17. Okay. That's what I was the best at, was recommendations. Okay. My last 2 years of selling Cutco only had 3 ladies give me less than 10 in 2 years. Okay. So I will teach you how to get 10 or more on every appointment. Okay. But right now, just read the manual. Okay. And then we'll go from there. All right. Why do we not sell in stores? Well, y'all all watched Shark Tank before? Yes or no? Okay. Every single time when the entrepreneur is like, and I want to get into big retail, just watch any Shark Tank. Within a millisecond, they're like, no, you don't. Right? Because that opens up a whole new can of worms, right? A lot more headaches, right? And you just cut all of your margins dramatically, right? If you can kick butt with a direct marketing, whether you're selling it online, like from your website or whatever, then you're keeping all the margins. Does that make sense? If we sold our Cutco at, Williams Sonoma, right? Well, they're taking about 40%, right? So then we're going to have to jack the price up on our products, right? We would also sell less, right? Because do you think that the $10 an hour person at the store, do you think that they actually care if you buy a little bit or a lot? Are they going to take the time to cut the penny and tell you about the guarantee? No, there's going to be like, why are these more expensive? Why are these less? And is the person even trained on all the products in the store? Right? Definitely not. Think about it. We pay y'all a lot more because you're going to be knowledgeable and educated on it. We're spending you 14 hours to teach you how to read a manual to married women, right? You're going to, by the way, you're going to know more about kitchen cutlery 99% of the plan when you graduate from law. You'll know more than the moms, just so you know. Anyways, well, we don't sell in stores because of that. Okay, we'd have to also pay for the commercials to get them to go to the store, and that would double the price right there. Now, every company's number one expense is advertising. So we'll call it 9 out of 10, just so you understand. Now, why do we start with family and friends, people we know and feel comfortable with? Right? They'll get something to help you for sure. Not a lot, but they'll at least get something, right? If they like it and you did a good appointment, then more. Okay, what else? Who said trust? Who said trust you? Okay, all right. Absolutely, right? Okay, why else do we start off with family and friends? Oh, good feedback. Okay, what else? Oh, that's one of the two big ones. Okay, because they all have so many more people that you don't know. Are you with me? Okay, so it'll like start with this. It's like you're a little match, right? Boom, and then we finish training tomorrow, and it's like spread. Coco's awesome. You should see it. Make sense? Okay. Now, so really the three main reasons why we start with family and friends. One, they all say yes when you're brand new. Okay. Because y'all really stink. Everyone stinks at the phone when you're brand new. Are you with me? Okay. Like my first phone call, it used to say, hey, blank, this is blank. So, hey, Mary, this is Trey. And then in parentheses, it literally says visit for a while. On my first phone call, I literally said visit for. And I just stopped because I'm like, oh my gosh, you just read that out loud. And then she was like, are you reading me something? I'm like, yes, ma'am. Right. She's like, keep going, baby. I'm like, okay. All right. And they still said yes. Right. So it doesn't matter. They all say yes. Right. So one, they all say yes. And two, you feel way more comfortable getting your kinks worked out. Right. If you started with a random stranger, right? Well, I don't even think I would have had the confidence to do that when I was brand new. Right. I don't think I would want to. Right. So family, friends, people I know and felt comfortable with, I can get my kinks worked out. And then it spreads the word of mouth. Those would be the three main reasons. Okay. Now, last question. Okay. Why do you make your own phone calls to schedule your own appointments? Why would we not hire a telemarketer to book appointments for you? Okay. So if there's no connection, right, they're just going to get hung up on. I got to think a telemarketer's got to have the lowest self-esteem at the end of a shift. You know what I'm saying? They have to be tough. They got grit. Okay. Now, all right. So, yep. Okay. What else? It is all a personal connection. Here's what I want you to get. I felt so comfortable with all of these ladies, right? First of all, I'm seeing moms, right? Second of all, even like a year or two down the road, it's a friend of a friend of a friend from someone who's in the choir with my mom. You see what I'm saying? I already know all of her friends, right? Hey, way more comfortable, right? Also, if we hire telemarketers, right, then you wouldn't get paid as much because we have to pay them. Two, you wouldn't have a flexible schedule because they would be booking the appointments and then you would need to be expected to show up. And three, you couldn't even focus on your best ones. They might even book anyone that's not an HM3. They might book a single guy that lives in an apartment that we would never in our lives want to go see. Does that make sense? So you're in control of your schedule, in other words. Okay. All right. The last slide, and you made it through the first long section. Yes. Once we write it down, we'll all clap. Okay. Y'all been champions. Okay. Champions. Okay. All right. Literally, the last thing I want you to write are those two things. I want you to write your fast start, your first 10 days on the job. So tomorrow night's a freebie. Okay. And then you get 10 full days and a freebie night tomorrow night. So write fast start, first 10 days on the job. So with whatever your schedules allow, you do want to work harder than you normally would your first 10 days. Want a lot of free Cutco, possibly win the trip to Cancun. Okay. And then write that one quote down, and then you don't need to write anything for a while. Okay. So I want you to write down, if I do 10 HM3 appointments my first 3 days, so basically Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. If I do 10 HM3 appointments, I will hit my first pay raise 100% of the time. I'll sell at least $1,000 100% of the time. How do I know that? Because it's literally never happened with over 10,000 people. Okay, you should sell a whole lot more than that. So if I do 10 HM3 appointments my first 3 days, I'll hit my first pay raise 100% of the time. Now, okay, you will have the opportunity. It's either $1,600 or $1,800, but you'll have the opportunity to win a ton of free Cutco. Okay, that's yours to keep forever, guaranteed forever, like you paid for it, like a customer. Okay, get a lot of pay raises. Okay, and if you work really hard, you can win the tropical trip, which I already told you, Cancun Hard Rock. Okay, now, all right. So here's what we're gonna do. I want y'all to share with me your top couple biggest takeaways. Okay, and then we're going to take a much needed break for y'all. All right, so biggest takeaways out of anything that I've gone over. Okay, what stuck out the most to you?
Making your clients feel comfortable, and being personal with them.
Okay, all right, be personal with your clients, make them feel comfortable. Energy, enthusiasm, excitement. All right. What do you mean?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. I just don't know how much confidence y'all have. Like the amount of confidence that I had on my first appointments was literally like a 1 out of 10. You see what I'm saying? I am just sticking my face in this book. It had to be the worst appointment ever, right? I'm just, Mom and Dad, can I just read this? Okay. Right. It was like I freaking forgot how to read too, right? It was like the worst. Okay. I remember like because when you cut rope, you have to use both hands to hold the rope and they're cutting. And then I start reading again. Cutco does it in one, right? And then my dad's like, "Oh my gosh, why didn't you tell me how good these knives were?" I was like, "Dad, I was trying to tell you, right?" And then by the way, when he found out we own K-Bar, he's like, "Oh my gosh, I've been using them over 20 years. These knives are the best." I'm like, "Dad, I've been trying to tell you, right?" But anyways, oh, so I hold the rope. All right, cuts the Cutco in one, right? Okay. And then I start reading. I realized I skipped a paragraph. But I remember Larry, he was like, "Read that book. Don't change it." I was like, "Hold on, Mom, I skipped a paragraph." And I went back and I read the freaking paragraph. Okay. Now, they didn't buy a whole lot, but they at least got like maybe $200. Does that make sense? Okay. So read the dang manual. Good. All right. What else? Anything else? It doesn't even have to be something you wrote. It could be a feeling. It could be anything. What stuck out? Oh, Haley, we're ready for you. Yes. Read small cut call. I see the people reading the highlighted ones. Good. Okay. All right. What else? Okay. Y'all are going to get really good at time management. Okay. If you get into Leadership Academy, I'm gonna have you actually buy a specific planner, all right, that I found to be the best planner that I've ever used in 24 years. Everyone has the exact same planner, right? You'll always get paid in life based on how far ahead you look, right? The fry guy looks minute to minute, right? The shift manager, hey, is looking like, oh, it's 10 a.m. Lunch will be starting soon, right? Hey, all the way to the owner is looking like 10, 15, 20-year plan, right? I want to help you get better. Like I could tell you literally any decently important thing that I have between now and Christmas. You see what I'm saying? And it's, whatever. What, June 1st now? Okay. Hey, Zach, do me a favor. Go knock on that door and tell Haley that we're ready for it. Okay. All right. Okay. So time management, communications, because I really want your generation to get. By the way, I do feel like y'all have pretty good communication skills, just so you understand. Okay. Well, a lot of your generation, not so much. Okay. All right. What else stuck out? All right. I'm going to go with 2. 1, 2. Okay. Yes. Just go back and cut stuff and get excited. Yes. Okay. Oh. Oh, what's that? It's the Hall of Fame ring. I'll give you that one. Okay. Yeah. Hurts people. Okay. Now, did you hear Jack's #1 takeaway? Okay. Open communication. Okay. So don't be a macho dude that's like, "I don't want to talk about feelings." Okay. Right. What are you talking about? Just talk to Haley and she'll help you. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So we're going to take a break. Okay. So here's the deal. I think I got a box of chips for the kids that forgot their lunches or anyone that wants more. Y'all are so, the Cheetos were the best ones in that box, right? Okay. Now, all right. Well, there's some chips for the lucky 4 then I got. Okay. We got jugs of water and stuff. There's some cups in there, right? So, all right. So let's take, let's get back on at like 2:40. Go take, so here, let me explain real quick. So bathroom, when you leave the suite, take a right, and then the first hallway on the left are the bathrooms. They use the restroom. Okay. If you want to hang out and vibe in here, we'll have some music going. Hey, if you brought food, there's a refrigerator and a microwave. Okay, right here at the end of the hallway, right here. Okay, if you didn't bring anything, then get some cups and get some water, right? So we're gonna take 12 minutes and then be back at 2:40. 2:40.